It's time for Medford Rogues Baseball as the Rogues take on the best of the West in the Great West League. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen to every Medford Rogues game all season long. Live on MedfordRogues.com. Now, it's time for Medford Rogues Baseball. Here's the voice of the Rogues, Brian Schnee.
Great to have you with us here live on the road in Marysville, California at Calusa Casino Stadium. Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. Alongside Jonathan Kerman tonight, you'll hear from him in just a few minutes. My name is Brian Schnee. We're excited for this one because Yuba City made the trek up to Medford. Some things have changed in the last series where Medford actually lost 3 straight games to Chico. Yuba this season sitting at 1-4. So things will change for the Bears tonight as they look to take matters into their own hands here at home. Jonathan Kerman has opening remarks from Rogues manager Josh Hogan down on the field. What's up, guys?
All right, thanks, Brian. Down the field with Coach Hogan. Coach, you guys just got done with a 5-hour drive. How do you shake off the rust and get ready for a game?
It wasn't too bad of a drive. 5 hours pretty long, but a lot of the guys got a good nap in. I know I did too. But we got here, stopped, had lunch for an hour, got to the hotel about an hour before. So it hasn't been too rushed on us, and I don't think we're too tired right now. It is our first road trip. Maybe in a month from now it might be a little different story on the road trips. But I think we're pretty fresh still and ready to go. Some of the guys, have played 6 games in a row though, and they're not used to that. Just playing those weekend series games and a few midweek games. But I think we have some pretty strong bodies out there, and they're mentally strong. So none of them are gonna tell me they're too tired to play or anything like that. But I think they might appreciate it here and there. So
Dylan Pierce pitched the season opener against these Yuba City Bears. He's on the mound tonight for the team. What are you looking for from him to build off of that first outing?
It'll just be a little more smooth, pound the zone more is really what we're looking for. His last outing was his first time out there in quite a while, a few weeks at least, maybe a month. And he was a little wiry, a little tight. So we're just looking for him to loosen up and just kind of be free-flowing Dylan. And that's the Dylan we like to see. And I think he was just, probably a little excited and probably maybe a little nervous last time in the first game. So I think he's just going to settle down and be himself today.
Almost a week now with the team. Have you seen any personalities develop, any class clowns on the team?
It's actually a pretty quiet group so far. I'd have to say Jordan Reagan's definitely the class clown. He keeps everybody on his toes, and he's always keeping people laughing. Right now, it's a little more of a serious group, honestly. They're about the business, and they're about playing baseball, a bunch of baseball rats. We just haven't been taking care of the baseball very well, so looking to clean that up. It's not a very good field, honestly, but it'll be good for us. So, a little adversity tests us some more, so we like that.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. All right, Jonathan. We'll see how this one shakes out. They're going to introduce the Yuba City Bears on the field here, and we'll get you the starting lineups for the Medford Rogues as well. In the batting lineup for Medford, they are advertised a little bit differently here tonight. At second base, leading things off, number 18, Davis DeLorfis. Batting in the 2 spot, the shortstop, number 8, Scotty Wright. Batting in the 3 spot, the left fielder, number 2, Johnny De La Cruz. Batting cleanup tonight, the right fielder, number 27, Jake Helwig. Batting 5th, the center fielder, number 10, Connor Lowry. Batting 6th, the catcher, making his first appearance behind home plate for the Rogues this season is number 24, Alex Isola. Batting 7th, the designated hitter, number 7, Josh Berman. Batting 8th, the first baseman, number 22, Jake Gazzo. And rounding out the lineup for your Medford Rogues is the third baseman wearing number 13, Clay Valenzuela-Reese. As just announced over the public address, the coaches for your Rogues. Pitching coach, number 35, Christian Coronado. Assistant coach, number 40, Jeff Lyle. And manager, wearing number 3, Josh Hogan. Both Josh Hogan and Jeff Lyle have been around since the inception of Medford Rogues baseball in 2013. Get you the starting fielding assignments for the Yuba City Bears. In left, Brendan Nelson. In center, TJ Dove. In right, Creed Smith. At third base, Josh Winkler. At shortstop, Kalen Crisoto. At second base, Eric Cortez. At first, Dominic Diana. Catching is Colin Lawrence. And on the mound, Landon Mitchell. The pitcher for the Medford Rogues tonight, as you heard Josh Hogan allude to, is Dylan Pierce, making his second start against the Yuba City Bears. On the mound tonight is Mitchell for the Bears. 2 games appeared in, 1 game started, 4 innings. 5 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts with 11.25 earned run average. And the right-hander will face leadoff batter for Medford, number 18, Davis DeLorphis. DeLorphis still working and looking for his first hit as a Medford Rogue. 2 games played, 6 at-bats, 2 walks, 1 RBI, a strikeout and a sac fly. Also has hit into a double play. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. A beautiful evening in Marysville, California. Not much going in the sky, just some sunshine. We like that. And a great night to be here with you. Quiet evening at the ballpark, but it is, after all, a Monday after a long weekend. And we had a long weekend at Harry David Field Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Rogues falling to Chico. And we'll see if Medford has any magic in this 7-game road trip. 4 games with the Yuba City Bears here in Marysville, and 3 games in Lincoln at McBean Stadium against the Lincoln Potters. So DeLorphis will lead things off. And ready to get going with the first pitch just a hair before 7:05. Nice to have you all with us here on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. Sun shining into the infield. The only coverage in shadow is directly behind home plate and over towards the third base dugout. The first pitch from the right-hander, Mitchell. Just upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. DeLorphis, a University of Utah product, has made a couple starts at shortstop. First pitch, or second pitch rather, catching the plate, 1-1. Mitchell gets the sign from the second half of his battery, Colin Lawrence. And here's the 1-1 from Mitchell. Hit sharply down the third base line. It goes right over the bag, and it's going to go into left. DeLorphis motoring and going to try to beat out the throw. He will. No throw gets to second before DeLorphis stands in with a leadoff double here in the top of the first. First hit of the season for Davis DeLorphis. Couldn't have come at a better time as the Rogues struggling over the last couple games. Things immediately looking up for Medford. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning last night against Chico, and then Chico exploded for 13 in the top of the second, and they did not look back. Now things a little different here. Scotty Wright steps in. DeLorphis at second, top 1. Mitchell looks at the plate, goes to the plate, and Wright pulls back the bunt. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Johnny De La Cruz on deck. The first baseman, Dominic Diana, playing on the infield grass. Over at third, Josh Winkler playing even with the bag. Crisosto behind second, showing a glove and gets back into position. Wright tries to bunt, fouls it away, count 1-1.
1-1 to Wright.
Shadow coming in over the right field side just behind first base, extending all the way into center field. Unique ballpark here. We got to love this. A little old school feel. High fence. I mean 15, 20 feet high. 410 just off the dead center. Scoreboard is also just off dead center. The bender in there for strike number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second base for the Rogues is Davis DeLorphis. And Mitchell again toes the rubber, catching a sign from Lawrence. Scotty Wright in there with a 1 ball, 2 strike count to him. Mitchell goes to the plate without looking at second. Wright belts it into right field. Going to his right and making the catch is Creed Smith, but advancement from Davis DeLorfis to third with one out here in the top of the first has the Rogues in scoring position and just 90 feet away. This brings up Johnny De La Cruz on the season, 260, 25 at-bats, 9 hits, 7 runs, 4 RBI, 4 walks for De La Cruz. One away, runner on third. And Mitchell goes straight to the plate. Checked by De La Cruz, but it's upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Big ballpark. They seat plenty here in Marysville. Imagine this place when it's rocking. Saturday night. 1 ball, no strikes to De La Cruz. Mitchell goes to the plate. Inside, 2-0. So DeLorfis over at first after a leadoff double. He hit it hard down the third base side. It bounced over the bag, and he motored in the second without a throw. Scotty Wright flew out to right field, pushing DeLorfis 90 feet away. The 2-0 from Mitchell. De La Cruz slaps it down the right field line and foul. Count is 2-1 with 1 away. No score, top 1. Rogues on the road.
2-1 to De La Cruz.
Again, the count 2-1 with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Mitchell goes to the plate on the 2-1. Up and away, 3 balls, 1 strike.
Now 3-1 to De La Cruz.
DeLorfis over at third. Mitchell stares at his catcher, deals the 3-1 inside and upstairs for ball 4. And De La Cruz makes it runners on first and third with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Valley Immediate Care is a proud sponsor of our Rogues broadcast team. Valley Immediate Care has locations in both North and South Medford, Ashland, Grants Pass, and Brookings, offering urgent care, occupational health, physicals, laser services, and more. Head to valley-ic.com for more information. And typically this would be the time where we give you the Valley Immediate Care injury report. Fortunately for the Medford Rogues, nothing to report at the early point of the season. Runners on first and third for Jake Hellwig. Stepping in the left-handed batter's box, Mitchell goes to the plate after a glance at third, upstairs, 1-0. Interesting sunset here because at Harry and David Field, it'll be directly over the third base side, which can wreak havoc for everyone on the right side of the field. It's actually over our shoulder as we stare directly at home plate, just off center of home plate. So it's going to be from the first base side, something perhaps for the Rogues to get used to here at Calusa Casino Stadium. Here's the 1-0. Hellwig hits it on the ground to the shortstop. DeLorfis going to come home, but they get a play at second and first, and the run will not count. An inning-ending double play as the Bears get themselves out of it. Scoreless after the top half of the first inning. It's Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Welcome back to Calusa Casino Stadium in Marysville, California. Brian Schnee with you tonight, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com, alongside reporter and producer Jonathan Kerman, who will join you tonight for innings 4, 5, and 6. Excited for that. We'll get you a couple ballpark shots as well throughout the evening. Maybe we'll pop those up on our Facebook page. If you're not following us already, I need to ask you why. At Medford Rogues Baseball on Facebook, at Medford Rogues on Twitter and Instagram. Creed Smith, Josh Winkler, and Kalen Cristolo. I have it written two different ways here. I think it's Cristolo, but we'll have to check. Kalen Cristolo, the shortstop. In left for the Rogues is Johnny De La Cruz. In center, Connor Lowry. And right, Jake Hellwig. At third, Clay Valenzuela-Reese. At short, Scotty Wright. DeLorphis at second. Gazzo at first. Isola behind home plate. And Dylan Pierce, the right-hander for your Medford Rogues. First pitch to Creed Smith is a strike. Crisosto, I think we got it. Pierce lets it fly, fouled away. Count 0-2 to Creed Smith. Dylan Pierce spent 2 of his collegiate years of eligibility at Southwest Oregon Community College and will take his talents to Oregon State University next year. What a program to join for your junior year of college. Pierce deals the off-speed, foul down the right field side, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Isola behind home plate, making his first appearance for the Medford Rogues as catcher. Dante Gutierrez had caught all 6 games. 2 of those games included extra innings. Inside, 1 and 2. Pierce comes back with the fastball. He knows this lineup relatively well, having pitched the season opener. Best part about Dylan Pierce is he actually pitched the last game of last season as well, the championship game, the 1-2. Hit hard down the left field line. It is a fair ball right on the line past third base. Smith goes to second, picked up by De La Cruz and fired in. And just like we had in the top half of the inning, another ball down the left side for a stand-up double. This will bring up Josh Winkler. Winkler hitting .238 on the season. 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 RBI. That hit for Creed Smith, just his second of the season, and just so happens it's his second hit and second double of the season. Winkler steps in the right-handed batter's box to go against the righty Dylan Pierce. First pitch hit sharply foul down the right side. Count 0-1. Winkler got jammed at the hands and hit it on a line down to just past the bench for the Rogues. Nice ballpark here. Gotta love it. We're down on the field earlier, checking things out. Here's the 0-1. At the knees for a strike. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. Yuba City 1-4, Medford 3-3. The Rogues were 3-0, courtesy of 3 wins against Yuba City, and then they ran into the unfortunate buzzsaw of Chico, and half of that was Chico being a good ball club, and the other half was tough hops, not being able to come back, just a mixture of things for the Rogues. Hit right up the middle, and a one-hopper to Connor Lowry. Now runners on first and third for the Yuba City Bears here at home. Smith trots over to third base. Winkler at first.
Shortstop number 16, Kalen Crisosto.
Crisosto steps in, the shortstop. Runners on first and third. Smith over at third. Winkler at first. Pierce from the stretch. Goes to the plate. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Crisosto hitting .500 has appeared in just 1 game for the Yuba City Bears. 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 RBI, a double in that game as well for the Bears. Count is 1-0 to Crisosto. Pierce goes to the plate, slide step, hit down the left side, foul. Count is 1-1. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. First of 4 here in Marysville against the Yuba City Bears for Medford. Pierce at the knees for a strike. Count is 1-2. Count is 1-2. I got to make fans at home jealous. We just got a delivery, and it's going to taste really good. The 1-2. Hit to the right side. Caught by DeLorfis, tries to go to second. He bounces it. A run will score, and everybody is safe. Runners on first and second base as DeLorfis tried to make a very difficult play, falling into the hole further, and he bounced it over to Scotty Wright covering second. Not sure what the official scoring of that would be. With a runner on first and second, looks like they gave him a single to make it 3 hits for Yuba. Brandon Nelson steps in. Count 1-0 from Dylan Pierce. Runners on first and second. Winkler at second. Crisosto at first. Creed Smith scores, and it's 1-0 in the bottom of the first in favor of Yuba City. Pierce has the 1-0. Hit foul, 1-1. The Rogues would like to thank our friends at Avista, serving Medford since 1906. Avista has created opportunities, sparked imaginations, and fueled innovation. Today, as they celebrate more than a century of service, the folks at Avista are committed as ever to helping the communities that they serve to grow and prosper. Head to avistautilities.com. The 1-1. Hit up the middle. Scotty Wright fields, steps on second, fires to first. They turn 2 for 2 outs in the inning, and Winkler advances to third. Dominic Diana will step in now with 2 outs and a runner 90 feet away. 1-0 lead for Yuba City. Again for the Rogues, Clay Valenzuela-Reese at third, Scotty Wright at short, DeLorfis at second, Gazzo at first. Isola behind home plate for the Rogues. Right-hander Dylan Pierce on the mound, low and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Diana hitting 176, has started every game for the Yuba City Bears, 17 at-bats, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 doubles. 2 balls, no strikes to Diana in the right-handed batter's box. Nice warm evening here in Marysville as well. I know the temperatures were favorable, to say the very least, for the first 6 games for the Medford Rogues. The sweat coming down the forehead here in Marysville. Temperatures in the low 90s. 3 balls, no strikes with 2 outs. A 1-0 lead for Yuba City here at home in the bottom of the first. Pierce goes to the plate, the 3-0, called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Here at a beautiful Calusa Casino Stadium in Marysville. Great West League action. Medford 3-3, Yuba City 1-4. Diana swings at the 3-1, hits it high to the left side. Scotty Wright goes into shallow left to make the catch in the 3rd out of the inning. Yuba gets in 1 here in the bottom of the first. It's a 1-0 lead for the Bears. We'll head to the top of the 2nd inning. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com. Rogues on the road. Top two, 1-0 lead for Yuba City. Lots of things going on here at the ballpark tonight. We've got some happy fans out here on a Monday enjoying some local baseball in Marysville, California, as they should be. Had a great turnout for all 6 games. Got to say, we must be happy, given the season starts a year earlier this year. Rogues celebrating their 5th birthday this year, and we hope you enjoyed it on Saturday night with fireworks and giveaways and unicorns and more. It was a lot of fun. First pitch up and into Connor Lowry, 1 ball, no strikes from the right-hander Landon Mitchell. Full windup for Mitchell on the 1-0. Also upstairs, 2-0. Dylan Pierce, as did Landon Mitchell, led up a single to left field to start the first inning. It just so happened that Yuba City was more fortunate in being able to advance those runners just a hair quicker before double plays were turned. And a 1-0 lead for Yuba City. Next one in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes to Connor Lowry here in the top of the 2nd inning. Nelson in left, Dub in center, Smith in right for Yuba City. 3 balls, no strikes. Mitchell, the right-hander, goes to the plate. Swinging at the 3-0 is Lowry on a line right over to the first baseman, Dominic Diana, who squeezes for out number 1. This will bring up Alex Isola, not a name you've ever heard us call before, because Alex is making his Medford Rogues debut. Got some applause from fans here tonight. Must have some family here in Marysville. The Rogues strolled into town this afternoon, and I think they come away with a great option behind home plate. And Alex Isola just finished his freshman year at the University of Utah. Sees the first pitch on the outer half for a strike from the right-hander Mitchell. Isola bats right, throws right, 6'1", 205. A product of, what do you know, Lincoln, California, where we will be heading on Friday night for a 7:05 first pitch. Saturday as well, and then a 6:05 first pitch on Sunday. Next pitch inside, 1-1. Alex close to home. The 1-1 from Mitchell on the way. Isola puts in the play over to the shortstop. Friendly bounce here at home for Crisosto, and he fires to first for out number 2. This brings up Josh Berman. I can't lie to you when I say a friendly bounce, because I don't think the Rogues saw a bounce like that to short all weekend. Davis DeLorfis and Scotty Wright were taxed over at shortstop, and at second as well. Jaden Hanna was also in the mix. It was a difficult weekend. The hops were just not friendly for the Rogues. I mean, they pretty much did everything they could. 2 outs. Berman steps in. No one on here in the top of the 2nd inning. 1-0 lead for Yuba City here in Marysville. 2 away. Berman sees the first pitch. It's a bender at the knees for a strike. Count is 0-1. The 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strikes. 1 strike, rather. We're pluralizing strike now when there's 1. That's a new one. Count is 1-1 here in the top of the 2nd inning. It's a 1-0 lead for Yuba City. Lowry led off the top of the 2nd with a liner to first. Isola grounded out to short. And Berman has the count at 1-1. Mitchell catches the sign from Lawrence and delivers. Berman checks on it inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The shadow that started behind home plate tonight has crept halfway to the pitcher's mound. So the hitters are in the shadow. The pitcher is lit up still with sunshine. Here's the 2-1 from Mitchell. Outside, 3-1. Jake Gazzo on deck for Medford. Berman earned player of the game, I believe, on Saturday night for the Rogues. RBI double. Here's the 3-1 to Berman. Ball 4. And another big difference between here and Harry and David Field, the backstop is directly behind home plate. I want to say maybe 15, 20 feet. It's a little bit different than Harry and David Field. Has a little bit more room behind home plate, but it's square all the way down to the fence on left field and right field lines rather than Harry and David Field that juts in after third and first base. So Berman over at first with a 2-out walk. Jake Gazzo steps in, the first baseman for the Rogues. Gazzo sees his first pitch from the right-hander, called strike.
0-1 to Gazzo.
No balls, 1 strike to Jake Gazzo. 5 walks this year for Gazzo. Swings and nearly drilled it over the third base bag as that happened to lead off the ball game from Davis DeLorfis. And, I mean, we would have seen a carbon copy of what DeLorfis was able to do. Instead, they count no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top 2. Berman at first. Rogues trailing 1-0 on the road. 1 hit for Medford was the first batter of the game, DeLorfis, the 0-2. Called strike 3 to end the inning. Mitchell gets the bender on the inside part of the plate to strike out Jake Gazzo looking. The Rogues strand 1, and they get nothing across. It's 1-0 through 1.5 here at Calusa Casino Stadium in Marysville, California. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Logan Worm leads off the bottom of the second inning. Yuba City on top, 1-0. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball on the road, live on MedfordRogues.com. First pitch to Logan Worm, catching the outside corner for a strike. Count is 0-1. Pierce full windup, deals the 0-1. Just below the knees, 1-1. Worm on the season just hitting .077 in 4 games, 13 at-bats. Gets a hold of this one, hits it deep to left field, and it's out of here. Logan Worm hits his first home run of the season and the first for the Yuba City Bears, a solo shot, and the Bears are on top 2-0. This brings up TJ Dove, 2-0 lead for Yuba City. And I didn't happen to catch the location on Isola's setup, but Pierce left it middle in, belt high, and Worm hit it into the screen in left field. No outs, 2-0 lead for Yuba City. And TJ Dove, who led off, I believe, every single game for Yuba City to start the 3-game series in Medford, batting in the 7 spot. Fouls the pitch away, count 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Dove fouls it out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Count no balls and 2 strikes.
Batting for the Yuba City Bears, second baseman number 22.
And Pierce
Eric Cortez.
gets Dove looking at one on the inner half for strike number 3. This brings in Eric Cortez. First pitch to Cortez out of the zone, 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes now. That strikeout on TJ Dove, Dylan Pierce's first of the game. Here's the 2-0. Fouled away down the right field side. 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out for Yuba City. Pierce gets the 2-1 look. Away, 3-1.
3-1 to Cortez.
Count 3-1 for Pierce. Full windup for Dylan. He deals. Fastball for a strike. Pierce went 4 1/3,
1 out.
allowing 3 earned runs, walking 4, and striking out 1, allowing 2 doubles in his debut against the Yuba City Bears. And he walks Cortez on 5 pitches. This brings up Colin Lawrence, the 9-hitter in the lineup.
Catcher number 11, Colin Lawrence.
Lawrence batting in the 9 spot. Cortez over at first, 1 out. Logan Worm led off the bottom of the second with a home run to left. Pierce catches the sign, blocked by Isola and kept in front. Count 1 ball, no strikes.
$5 not your father's root beer floats in the concourse.
One away here in the bottom of the second inning. 4 hits for Yuba City. 1 for Medford. Pierce lives inside with that one. 2 balls, no strikes. Cortez over at first.
2-0 to Lawrence.
And Yuba City clinging to this 2-0 lead. Yuba left 1 on the bases in the first. And Lawrence fouls it straight back. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now it's 2-1 to Lawrence.
Pierce, a product of Central Point, Oregon, Crater High School. Plenty familiar with Southern Oregon. And when I spoke to him last year, absolutely loving his time spent with the Medford Rogues. Came in big for Medford late in the season last year. Not only pitching, but also had to get up and hit. Count is 2-1 to Lawrence. Cortez over at first. Here's the 2-1. Just outside, 3-1. Pierce at an interesting point here with the sun coming down on the mound. Half on the mound, half off. Home plate is shaded. Valenzuela-Reese over at third, half in the shade, half out. And DeLorphis looking right into the sun over at second. Here's the 3-1, called strike at the knees. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cortez over at first after a 5-pitch walk. Dub struck out after a Logan Worm home run. It's 2-0 Yuba City in the bottom of the second inning. 3 balls, 1 strike. And that was actually 3-2 on the inside part of the plate for strike 3. Pierce gets his second strikeout of the inning. Not only is the sun shining on center field, also right on the scoreboard in center field. Tough to see some of those numbers there.
Creed Smith.
Ball and strike count making things difficult. A 2-0 lead for Yuba City, with Creed Smith, the leadoff batter, stepping in here in the bottom of the second inning. And Smith had a double and scored the run in the first inning. Next pitch bounces, and Isola popped behind him. He found it over with Cortez advancing to second. So Smith steps in with a 1-ball, no strike count. Runner over at second now with 2 outs. 4 hits for Yuba City. 2-0 lead for the Bears here at home in Marysville, California. Pierce deals. Looked really good just outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
2-0 to Smith.
Pierce gets the sign from Isola. Checks second. Holds and goes to the plate. Here's the 2-0. Same pitch as the exact, I want to say probably the last pitch.
2-1.
And this time called a strike. Count is 2-1. Count 2-1, 2 outs. Runner at second is Eric Cortez. Here's the 2-1. Inside, 3-1.
3-1 to Smith.
Train moving by in left field. Just cruising on by here at Calusa Casino Stadium. 2-0 lead for Yuba City in the bottom of the second. The 3-1 from Pierce. Hit to the right side. DeLorfis stays down on it, fires to first. And 1 run comes across in the bottom of the second via Logan Worm, but the Rogues get out stranding 1 on the bags.
Moms and dads, please be sure to sign your kids
It's a 2-0 lead for Yuba City. We go to the top of the third. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
We're back on the road with the Rogues. Take the Rogues with you by following along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
9-1-2 for the Medford Rogues here in the top of the third inning. You are listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com from Marysville, California. A 2-0 lead for Yuba City. 1 run in the bottom of the first and 1 in the bottom of the second for the Bears. This brings up Clay Valenzuela-Reese in his first plate appearance tonight for the Medford Rogues. Morton's offers something for everyone. Morton's has a full sports bar, separate family dining side of the restaurant, and even delivery. Check out the website, mortons.com. That's Morton's with 2 R's. Morton's of East Medford, proud sponsor of the Rogues broadcast. First pitch is upstairs to Valenzuela-Reese. 1 ball, no strikes. Oregon City kid playing his baseball at Campbellsville University, along with Malik Evans and DJ Wilson. The 1-0 drops the curveball in for strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mitchell has struck out a Rogue, and that being Jake Gazzo to end the second inning. Has issued 2 walks tonight. Lone hit for the Rogues is Davis DeLorfis as Valenzuela-Reese catches a piece late on the fastball. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
1 and 2 to Valenzuela.
Winkler at third, Cristoso at short, Cortez at second, and Diana at first. Lawrence behind home plate, Mitchell on the mound. The 1-2 to Valenzuela-Reese. He fouls it off the mask of Lawrence. Count remains 1 and 2, no outs, top 3. The Rogues stranded Josh Berman over at first in the second inning. De La Cruz, who walked with 2 outs, or rather with 1 out, was victim of a double play off the bat of Jake Helwig. Righty-righty matchup has the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Valenzuela-Reese digs in. Mitchell leg kicks and fires. Inside, 2 and 2.
Two and 2 to Valenzuela-Reese.
Here's the 2-2 from Mitchell. Valenzuela-Reese swings at that one out of the zone, popping it up to the right side. Tracking and unable to make the catch was Diana. He collided into some fencing down the right side. Elevated fencing down there at a sort of patio down the right field side, and count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Diana gave it a good chase. Valenzuela-Reese steps in here with the count at 2 and 2. Mitchell deals the 2-2. Inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nearly hit Clay Valenzuela-Reese. 22 at-bats, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks. No RBI for Valenzuela-Reese. And the count at 3 and 2. Mitchell deals. Flailed at by Valenzuela-Reese. He fends it off. The count stays full. DeLorfis on deck for the Rogues. Trots after the foul ball. And the count is 3 and 2. Great night here at the ballpark. Not a huge crowd on hand, but they've got some stands to fill here in Marysville. Decent crowd down the right field side behind first base. Again, fouling it back. A pitch out of the zone for the second straight pitch from Mitchell has Valenzuela-Reese chasing, keeping the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, DeLorfis on deck. Rogues trail 2-0 here in the top of the third. No outs. 9-hitter Clay Valenzuela-Reese up with a 3-2 count. Here's the deal from Mitchell. He bounces it, and Valenzuela-Reese stares at it, earning ball 4. Third walk of the season issued to Valenzuela-Reese. And this brings up DeLorfis. Davis DeLorfis has registered the only hit for the Medford Rogues so far tonight. Had a stand-up double in the top of the first. Hit one on a good line down the third base side. It actually bounced over third base and made its way down into left field along the chalk line. And he had an easy way standing up for a double. First pitch to DeLorfis. Downstairs, 1-0. No out, top 3. Valenzuela-Reese over at first. Mitchell holds. The right-hander doesn't glance at first. Now he does. Holds and deals. The 1-0 downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. And Valenzuela-Reese takes off for second, slides in safely. And that one got away from the catcher, Lawrence. He still had enough time to fire down the second. A good tag applied by Eric Cortez. Just a hair late. 2 balls, no strikes. And DeLorfis steps in the right-handed batter's box now with a runner in scoring position for the Rogues, who trail 2-0. Top 3, entire field shaded now. The sun sets, as does the right-hander Mitchell with the 2-0. He deals. Swinging and missing is DeLorfis. The count now 2-1.
2-1 DeLorfis.
Again, no outs here in the top of the third for the Rogues at the plate. Just one hit, courtesy of the young man up at the plate right now in his first plate appearance, being Davis DeLorfis, in that leadoff double to start the ball game. 2 balls and 1 strike. In there for a strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Catches the inside part of the plate on the bender, and now the count is 2-2. No outs, runner on second. DeLorfis now has the count at 2-2. Scotty Wright on deck for the Rogues. First base open, third base open. Mitchell deals the 2-2. Swinging and missing is DeLorfis for strike 3.
DeLorfis down swinging.
This brings up Scotty Wright. Flew out to the right fielder
Now batting for the Medford
in the first
Rogues,
inning.
Shortstop number 8, Scotty Wright.
Scotty does have 4 RBI, 4 walks, 6 hits, 4 runs on the season in 5 games for the Rogues. So 1 away with Valenzuela-Reese over at second base. He walked and then he got down there after a ball bobbled by Lawrence. He motored down there in time for a stolen base. Mitchell looks at second and goes to the plate. First pitch, Bender, in there for a strike.
0-1 to Wright.
Count is 0-1 to Scotty Wright. Johnny De La Cruz, the left fielder, on deck for the Medford Rogues. Returning All-Star from last year's Great West League All-Star team. 2 All-Stars in the lineup. De La Cruz and Lowry, the 0-1. Fouled straight back. The count is no balls and 2 strikes.
0-2 to Wright.
Runner at second base is Valenzuela-Reese, who had a leadoff walk. And he earned it, to say the very least. He had the count at 3-2 and had to fight off 3 pitches out of the zone that he swung at and protected the plate. Finally looked at ball 4. 1 away. Scotty Wright has the count at no balls and 2 strikes. They'll check over to second. A high throw. Valenzuela-Reese gets in there. Had that been a better throw, more belt high or even lower towards the knees, I do believe Cristosto could have had him. Great move by the right-hander, Landon Mitchell. 1 out, top 3. A 2-0 lead for Yuba City. Valenzuela-Reese at second with 1 away. Here's the 0-2. Hit right back to Mitchell. He will walk it over to first and toss it. And Valenzuela-Reese advances to third. So now with 2 away, this brings up Johnny De La Cruz. Johnny walked in the first inning, is hitting .360 on the season, 25 at-bats, 9 hits, 7 runs, and 4 RBI. An everyday starter for the Medford Rogues last year and also once again this season. Mitchell will go back to the full windup, and he's got Valenzuela-Reese to worry about over at third. He deals. The first pitch to De La Cruz. It might drop in shallow right, giving chase, and a nice catch, though, by Creed Smith. Denies the Rogues once again. Medford strands 1. No hits, no errors, and no runs for the Rogues. They trail 2-0. We go to the bottom of the third. Yuba City on top here in Marysville, California. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Worm back on the road with the Rogues.
Bottom of the third inning, 2-3-4 in the lineup for the Yuba City Bears. Josh Winkler swings at the first pitch. A high bounce to Davis DeLorfis over at second, and he fires to first for the out. 4-3 in the scorer's book as Winkler is now 1 for 2 tonight. This brings up Kalen Crisosto, who had a single in the first inning. 4 hits total for Yuba City in a 2-0 lead. Here in the bottom of the third, 1 away.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, number 16 shortstop, Kalen Crisosto.
Pierce goes to the plate. Called strike at the knees. Count 0-1.
1 to Crisosto.
Thanks to Fred Meyer, the Rogues will offer specially priced family ticket packages each Sunday. 4 tickets for just $44, including 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs. It's all part of the Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays. All you got to do is get those packages at locally owned Fred Meyers in the Rogue Valley. 3 Fred Meyers locally in the Rogue Valley, and those are the ones you got to go to. It's part of the Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays at Harry and David Field all season long. Count is 1-2 to Crisosto. Pierce leg kicks and fires. Off the plate, 2-2.
Now it's 2-2.
You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Here's the 2-2 with 1 out. Swinging and missing for strike 3 is Crisosto, and Pierce blew it by him. Third strikeout for Dylan Pierce. He struck out TJ Dove, Lawrence, and now Crisosto. This brings up Brendan Nelson in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. Yuba City on top 2-0 after a home run that Logan Worm hit to lead off the bottom half of the second. And Creed Smith came in around to score after leading off the ball game in the bottom of the first inning for Yuba City. Count 0-1 to Brendan Nelson, steps in the left-handed batter's box. Pierce working quickly, the count 0-2. Dominic Diana on deck, but there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. Rogues trailing 2-0. Here's the 0-2. Looked close inside on the setup from Alex Isola. He actually set up on the outer half of the plate, and the ball ran in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Pierce waiting on the sign from Isola, and he steps off. Pierce once again steps out. Wants to chat it over with Alex Isola. And the count 1-2 with 2 outs. Rogues fans, if you're looking for a used car or truck, why not head to the dealer that will give you the best quality vehicle at the best price? Crater Lake Ford uses real-time tracking software to research similar makes within hundreds of miles to give you the best car shopping experience while saving you time and money. Crater Lake Ford, right cars and trucks, right prices, right experiences. Visit CraterLakeFord.com. Out of the quick break from Isola and Pierce. He runs it outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 lead for Yuba City here in the bottom of the third. Pierce deals the 2-2. Slapped at and hit over to Scotty right at short. He scoops, he throws, he fires out. Brendan Nelson 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the third, and the Rogues trail 2-0. We go to the top of the fourth, where Jonathan Kerman takes over as you're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
We apologize for the technical difficulties, fans. Didn't miss much in the top half of the fourth inning. Rogues went down 1-2-3. 2-0 Yuba City Bears heading to the home half of the fourth inning. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans on medfordrogues.com. Welcome back to Medford Rogues Baseball, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. We are in the home half of the fourth inning, 2-0 Yuba City Bears over the Rogues. Stepping in now to the batter's box for the Bears is first baseman Dominic Diana. Diana hit into a fielder's choice back in the first inning. First pitch, Diana is swung on and fouled back, counts 0-1. Rogues Baseball is brought to you by Claudio Alvarez Construction and Restoration. Founded over 2 decades ago, Claudio Alvarez Construction and Restoration are there when you need them most. Whether it's a fire, storm, or water damage, the Alvarez Restoration Team is ready and willing to bring your home back to how it used to be. We like to say, when bad stuff happens, make the good stuff happen. Find us at alvarezconstruction.com or by calling 541-727-7340. The 1-1 pitch to Dominic Diana is outside, so the count runs to 2-1. Dominic Diana has played all 7 games for the Bears this season. The 2-1 pitch is swung at and towering fly ball. Looks like it's going to head into foul ground. It does. That's a souvenir for a lucky fan. Bottom of the fourth inning. 2 balls, 1 strike the count to Dominic Diana. 2-0 Yuba City Bears. Dylan Pierce still on the mound for the Medford Rogues. Pierce settles in, gets the sign from Isola, winds, and deals. Swung on, hit to the first baseman, Jake Gazzo. He takes it himself to the bag to retire Diana. So 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And up next for the Bears, the DH, Logan Worm. Logan Worm hit a home run over the left field fence back in the second inning. That is the first home run, at least that I've seen in the Great West League. No, there aren't many this season. Here's the first pitch to Worm. He swings at it and hits it foul down the right field line. The count's 0-1. You know, these are collegiate players, but they're playing with wood bats. And let me tell you, the stadiums that these kids are playing in, they are not small. He definitely earned that home run. The 0-1 pitch to Diana is high and outside, 1-1. You know, there's actually a cardboard glove out in deep left center field, and Isola was probably just a couple feet away from hitting it. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Logan Worm, Logan Worm at the dish for the Bears. Swung on and missed, and the count is 2-2.
1-2 to Worm.
Pierce, ready, deals. And that is on the outside corner for a strike. And after the home run, Logan Worm strikes out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. No men on for the Bears, and coming up is T.J. Dove, the center fielder.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, number 24, center fielder, T.J. Dove.
It's the 4th strikeout for Dylan Pierce. Here's the right-hander Dove at the dish. Takes a first pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Pierce deals. It's in the dirt. Count evens 1-1.
1-1 to go.
1-1 the count to TJ Dove. Bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0 Bears. Here's the pitch. Catches the outside corner for strike 2. So 1-2 the count to TJ Dove. Pierce winds and deals, and on the outside corner again for his second strikeout of the inning. And TJ Dove just hangs his head and walks slowly back to the dugout. So at the end of 4, 2-0 Bears. We head to the top half of the 5th inning. Right after this, you're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. We'll be back after this.
It's time for Medford Rogues Baseball as the Rogues take on the best of the West in the Great West League. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen to every Medford Rogues game all season long, live on MedfordRogues.com. Now, it's time for Medford Rogues Baseball. Calling all the action tonight, here's Jonathan Kerman.
You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans, live on MedfordRogues.com. We're in the top half of the 5th inning, 2-0 Yuba City Bears, and up to bat for the Medford Rogues is the DH, Josh Berman. Josh Berman walked back in the 2nd inning, but would not come around to score. Josh Berman, the right-handed batter, settles into the batter's box. Pitcher Landon Mitchell for the Bears on the mound. His first pitch. Berman shows bunt, then pulls back. Pulled back in time, the count 1-0. No runs, just 1 hit for the Rogues. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Bears. 1-0, the count to Josh Berman. Mitchell fires. Curveball high. The count is 2 balls, no strikes. Rogues fans, if you're looking for a used car or truck, why not head to the dealer that will give you the best quality vehicle at the best price? Crater Lake Ford uses real-time tracking software to research similar makes within hundreds of miles to give you the best car shopping experience while saving you time and money. Crater Lake Ford, right cars and trucks, right prices, right experiences. Visit CraterLakeFord.com. 2-0 Bears here in the top of the 5th inning. 2-0 the count to the hitter Josh Berman. First baseman Jake Gazzo on deck. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Berman. High and outside, and that runs the count to 3 balls and no strikes. We had a rare sight earlier today. We had a home run by a Yuba City Bear player. That was Logan Worm back in the 2nd inning. Hit a shot over the left field wall. 3-1 the count to Berman. That one almost hits him, and it's ball 4. So the leadoff man aboard for the Rogues, and coming up to bat, the first baseman, Jake Gazzo. It's Berman's 2nd walk of the game. So as the right-hander Jake Gazzo settles into the batter's box, with Josh Berman at first base, London Mitchell gets the sign from Kellen Lawrence, and that pitch is inside, blocked by Lawrence, keeps the ball in front of him so Berman can't advance, and the count is 1-0. And we're going to have a quick timeout, visit to the pitcher's mound. And that gives me a second to talk to you guys about Hellgate Jet Boats. Located just 5 minutes from the I-5 in Grants Pass, Hellgate Jet Boat Excursions is the only place you need to go for the ultimate Rogue River experience. Jet through historic Hellgate Canyon, lounge at the exclusive OK Corral, and feast on all-you-can-eat homemade barbecue. Visit www.hellgate.com to book your experience today. Now, it's interesting, you're hearing the Jeopardy music play over the PA, but it's for the home pitcher. And we're back. Jake Gazzo steps back into the batter's box. 2-0 the count. Berman on first. Here's the pitch to Gazzo. That one's in the dirt. Two balls and no strikes to Jake Gazzo. Josh Berman on first. He walked to lead off the inning. 2-0 Bears here in the top of the fifth inning. And here's the 2-0 pitch to Gazzo. And that one's in the dirt again. These balls are bouncing before they even get to the plate. It's real easy for Gazzo to pick that one up. 3 balls and no strikes. You know, I'm not sure if Gazzo is an avid golfer, but maybe Landon Mitchell knows something we don't. He's throwing all these balls down and dirty. 3-0 the count to Gazzo with Berman, on first. Here's the pitch. That one is in there for a strike, and the count is 3-1. Gazzo is taking all the way. Gazzo is taking all the way on that one. Now we'll see if he gets the green light on 3-1. Mitchell set and deals. Swung on and hit just over the shortstop's head. It hits his mitt. That's the shortstop, Kalen Crisosto. And Gazzo is aboard with a single. So runners on first and second for the Rogues. No one out here in the top of the fifth inning. And coming up to bat, the third baseman, Clay Valenzuela-Reese.
The Rogues number 13, third baseman, Clay Valenzuela-Reese.
So Berman on second, Gazzo at first, Clay Valenzuela-Reese at the dish, and there's no one out, in the top of the fifth inning for the Rogues. Mitchell checks the runner at second. Checks again. Now deals. Valenzuela tries to bunt it, but hits it foul. The count's 0-1. We'd like to thank our friends at Fred Meyer. Thanks to Fred Meyer, the Rogues offer specially family-priced ticket packages for each Sunday home game. That's 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs for just $44. And these ticket packages are only available at each of the 3 local Rogue Valley Fred Meyer stores. Don't miss out on the fun. Fred Meyer Family Fun Sundays, only at Harry and David Field. The next pitch is in the dirt. It's blocked by the catcher, Colin Lawrence, but both runners advance. So now the Rogues are really in business. Runners at second and third, nobody out, and a 1-1 count to Reese. And there's going to be another time called as we get another mound visit. Mitchell and Lawrence are going to talk things over. Once the fifth inning rolls around, I tend to get a little hungry, and the only place that I go for food is Heroes. Heroes is the new place for gourmet subs, wraps, salads, and burgers. People are really talking about how Heroes is the best sandwich shop in town. Come give us a try. Eat like a hero. Hero Sandwich Shop. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans, live on MedfordRogues.com. I am Jonathan Kerman. Brian Schnee is taking a few innings off. He'll be back in the 7th. Top of the 5th, no outs, 2 runners on, second and third. Berman at third, Gazzo at second, Clay Valenzuela-Reese at the plate, and the count is 1-1. Mitchell set and fires. Reese swings at it and misses. And the count is 1-2.
1-2 to Valenzuela-Reese.
No, whatever the conversation was on the mound, it appears to have worked. Mitchell was throwing all dirt balls to Gazzo. Seems to be in a little more control, but with runners at second and third, there is no margin for error. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Valenzuela Reese. He hits one that's going to be a high fly ball into right field, pretty shallow. Right fielder, Creed Smith coming on, makes the catch, and it's too shallow for the runners to advance. So the Yuba City Bears keep the Rogues off the board so far here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 out now, and the lineup turns over for the Rogues. Batting now is the second baseman, Davis DeLorfis. DeLorfis had a sharp double in the in the first inning to lead off the game, but couldn't come around to score. Jake Helwig hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. Here's the first pitch to DeLorfis. That one is high, ball 1. 2-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Bears over the Rogues. Two on, 1 out. Runners at second and third. And Davis DeLorfis at the dish. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Davis DeLorfis. That one is inside, just off the plate. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes, 1 out, 2 men on, runners at second and third. Great opportunity for the Rogues to tie this game with just 1 swing. Here's the pitch to DeLorfis. That one is high, but catches the top part of the plate. And the count is now 2-1. We're live here in Marysville, California. Yuba City Bears hosting the Medford Rogues. 2-1, the count to DeLorfis. Here's the pitch. And that one's high and outside. And as I thought, it was actually 3 balls, and that pitch makes it 4. Can't rely on the scoreboard too often, folks. So Davis DeLorfis walks to load the bases, and coming up now to the plate is probably the hottest hitter in the Rogues lineup, Scotty Wright. And the manager is coming out of the dugout. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change here, folks. We'll be back with the new lineups right after this. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. I'm Jonathan Kerman. We're back with Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. I'm Jonathan Kerman. So we have a pitching change for the Yuba City Bears with the bases loaded and 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. Pitching for the Yuba City Bears now is number 41, Chris Lamas. Lamas is a right-hander, and he is a big boy, let me tell you, folks. Words do not describe the size of this man. He looks ready for the big leagues. The way the top of the inning shook out, Josh Berman walked to start out the inning. Jake Gazzo hit a single over the shortstop, Kalen Crisosto's head. It hit his glove, but Crisosto couldn't come down with it. And then Clay Valenzuela Reese walked. And so we have bases loaded, one out here in the top of the 5th inning. In a 2-run ball game, Bears over the Rogues.
If you have this number, head down to the Bears merchandise booth to claim your prize.
And while I have a minute, fans, I'd like to talk to you about Mary's Barbecue. Tender, juicy, slow-cooked meat, homemade sides, and friendly service. And it's easy for anyone in the Southern Oregon area to get to. Mary's Barbecue at 841 East Pine Street in Central Point. Follow on Facebook or their website, marysbarbecueplace.com.
Scotty Wright, shortstop for the Rogues. Batting.
Up to the dish now for the Rogues. It's a shortstop, Scotty Wright. The first pitch to Wright is low for ball 1. One out here in the top of the 5th inning. Rogues have the bases loaded. Josh Berman at third, Jake Gazzo at second, Davis DeLorfis at first. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that one sails behind Wright, but the ball bounces off the backstop, takes a friendly hop for the Bears. Colin Lawrence grabs it quickly. The runners can't advance, and the count is 2-0. There's some home love, some home luck for the Bears right now, as that one easily could have been a run scored. But as it stands right now, the Rogues are not on the board. 2 balls and no strikes to Scotty Wright. Here's the pitch from Lamas, and that one hits him. And that is going to bring home a run. So the Medford Rogues are on the board. Josh Berman scores after a leadoff walk to start this inning. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Bases are still loaded here with 1 out, and the score is 2-1 Bears. And now stepping into the batter's box for the Rogues, number 2, Johnny De La Cruz. Bases are still loaded here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 across for the Rogues so far. Here's the first pitch to De La Cruz, and that one hits him. So back-to-back hit batters by Chris Lamas, and just like that, we have a tied ball game here in Marysville. 2-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Bases are still loaded for the Rogues. And we're going to have a quick conversation by the hitting coach of the Bears, see what's going on with Chris Lamas. So the Rogues have scored 2 on only 1 hit. 3 walks and 2 hit by pitches equals 2 runs across. On the game, 2 runs, 2 hits for the Rogues, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Bears. Stepping in now to the box for the Rogues is left-handed swinging Jake Hellwig. Lamas gets the sign, and here's the first pitch. That pitch is outside, but it did not hit Hellwig, and I think that is an important improvement. The count is 1-0 to Jake Hellwig. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 runs have come across already on 2 hit batters. Count 1-0 to Jake Hellwig. The 0-1 pitch he swings at, hits a sky-high ball down the third base line. Is that going to stay fair? No, it does not. It bounces into the stands, and the kids run after it. There's the first strike to Jake Hellwig. The count 1-1. 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. 2-2 ball game. One and 1 count to Jake Hellwig. Here's the pitch. And he swings, and that one's a sky-high ball. This one's going to stay fair, though, to the shortstop, Kalen Crisosto. He makes the catch. Runners cannot advance. And we now have 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. Bases still loaded for the Rogues. And coming up now is fan favorite Connor Lowry. So Hellwig fails to move the runners over. We still have a tied ball game here in the top of the 5th inning. Davis DeLorfis at third, Scotty Wright at second, Johnny De La Cruz at first, and Connor Lowry at the dish. Here's the pitch to Lowry. That one is high, ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Connor Lowry. Chris Lamas on the mound for the Bears. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is fouled back to the screen, and the count's 1-1. Fans, I can't tell you how many times we've had to replace a window at Harry and David Field because of a stray fly ball. When we need our windows replaced or fixed, the only team we trust is the folks at Bill's Glass. With locations in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass, Bill's Glass is the fastest and most affordable glass service in Southern Oregon. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Connor Lowry. That one's in the dirt for ball 2, and the count is 2-1. Bases loaded for the Rogues in the top of the 5th inning. 2 runs have already come across, both by hit batters. And we are tied at 2 here in Marysville. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball on medfordrogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Connor Lowry. That one catches the outside part of the plate, and the count is even at 2 apiece. So deuces wild here in the top of the 5th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2-2 game. Bases loaded for the Rogues. Connor Lowry at the dish. Chris Lamas sets and deals. That one's in the dirt, and Lowry runs the count full. So the runners will be moving. DeLorfis at third, Scotty Wright at second, Johnny De La Cruz at first. 3-2 the count here in the top of the 5th inning to Connor Lowry. Here's the pitch, and Lowry hits that one well into left field. That is going to fall. An RBI double, for Connor Lowry, and they're sending everybody in. A bases clearing RBI double for Connor Lowry, and the Rogues break this one open. They take a commanding 5-2 lead here in the top of the 5th inning. So Connor Lowry drives home Davis DeLorfis, Scotty Wright, and Johnny De La Cruz. All 3 of those runners reached either by a base on balls or were hit. So the first actually run batted in with an actual bat for the Rogues this evening. 5-2 here in the top of the 5th. Connor Lowry at second, and Alex Isola, the catcher, up to bat. Here's the first pitch to Isola. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. So here's the 0-1 pitch to Isola. Lamas fires. That one is inside. Ball 1. 5-2 here in the top of the 5th inning. All the Rogues' runs coming in this 5th inning. Connor Lowry on second. Alex Isola looking for more. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Isola. That is in the dirt. Ball 2. So 2 hit batters in bases-loaded situations tied the game in the top of the 5th inning, and then Connor Lowry cleared the bases with a double. He's still on second. Alex Isola at the plate, and he hits a ball sharply down the right field line, but it is foul. So that's a strike on Isola, and the count is 2-2. Lamas came in in the middle of this inning in a bases-loaded jam and proceeded to hit 2 batters to drive in the tying runs for the Rogues, and then gave up that shot to Connor Lowry that cleared the bases. So everyone's set. Connor Lowry on second, Alex Isola at the dish. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 5-2 here in the top of the 5th here in Marysville. Lamas checks the runner at second and fires. Isola hits it well, and that's going to fall into a hit down in left field, and that is going to bring home Lowry. So another run scores for the Rogues. Alex Isola drives in Lowry, and the score is now 6-2 in favor of the Rogues.
Now batting for the Rogues, designated hitter number 7, Josh Berman.
So 6-2 now in favor of the Rogues here in the top of the 5th inning. And stepping in for the Rogues is the DH, Josh Berman. Berman actually led off this inning with a walk. The first pitch is fouled back, and the count's 0-1. There's some action in the Bears bullpen, but Lamas is still on. Alex Isola at first drove in Connor Lowry to make the game 6-2. Josh Berman at the dish. He swings at the 0-1 pitch, and that one's hit into right field. Right center fielder, but playable. The center fielder, TJ Dove, is there to retire Berman. But in the inning, 6 men come across for the Rogues. 3 hits, 2 walks, a hit batter in the inning. 6 runs come across for the Rogues. At the end of the top half of the 5th inning, the score is 6-2 in favor of the Rogues. You are listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. We'll be back after this.
We're back on the road with the Rogues.
Welcome back to Medford Rogues Baseball. I'm Jonathan Kerman. Bottom half of this 5th inning, the Rogues put up 6 in the top of this inning. The score is 6-2 in favor of the Rogues against the Bears here in Marysville. Stepping up to the dish for the Bears, number 22, Alex Cortez. Cortez was walked back in the 2nd inning. Had advanced to second on a wild pitch, but that was it. Here's the first pitch. That is a strike, and the count is 0-1. Dylan Pierce still on the mound for the Rogues. 6 runs, just 4 hits for the Rogues. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Yuba City Bears. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one is fouled back, and the count's 0-2. The Rogues would like to thank Rogue Credit Union for their continued support of Medford Rogues Baseball and the surrounding Southern Oregon community. Our friends at Rogue Credit Union are striking out hunger. Rogue Credit Union is donating $10 to Access every time a Rogues pitcher strikes out a player at home. Rogue Credit Union, living local. It's a Rogue thing. Speaking of strikeouts, Dylan Pierce has 4 on the day. 0-2 the count to Alec Cortez, looking for another K. Cortez gets a little bit of this one. That one's hit to left center field. But Johnny De La Cruz is there to record the out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And coming up to bat for the Bears is the catcher, Colin Lawrence.
Now batting for the Bears, number 11. The catcher this evening, Colin Lawrence.
So Colin Lawrence, the left-handed batter, steps in against Dylan Pierce. Colin Lawrence struck out back in the second inning. The first pitch to Lawrence is in there for a strike. 0-1. No balls, one strike, the count to Colin Lawrence. 6-2 ball game here in Marysville. Here's the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. Six runs in the top of this inning for the Rogues. They busted this one open 6-2 over the Bears. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's in the dirt for ball 1. Dylan Pierce gave up 1 run in the first, gave up a home run in the second that was hit just over the left field wall. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that one is inside, and the count is even 2-2. Meanwhile, the Rogues had a walk to lead off the top of the 5th, a single, another walk, 2 hit batters to tie the game. The 2-2 pitch is fouled at, and will stay 2-2. Really an exceptional top of the 5th inning for the Rogues. They tied the game without batting a runner home. They got hit. A run hit by pitch in. We need to start counting that stat. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one is painting the outside black of the plate. Down goes Colin Lawrence for the second strikeout of the game. 5th strikeout for Dylan Pierce. You know, sometimes all it takes for a pitcher is just having some run support to really dial in your confidence. And it looks like Pierce is pitching with a lot of confidence right now. The lineup turns over for the Bears. Stepping in is the right fielder Creed Smith. He looked at a first pitch strike, and the count's 0-1. Creed grounded out back in the second inning. And that pitch, some chin music. That one nearly hit him. The count's even, 1 apiece. 6 runs on just 4 hits for the Rogues, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Yuba City Bears. One and 1 the count to Creed Smith, and that one is swung on and missed. You got a piece of it, but still a strike, the count 1-2. The Rogues are on the road. This is game 1 of 4 here in Marysville. And then the team travels to Lincoln for a 3-game series against the current leaders of the Great West League, the Lincoln Potters, before returning home on June 13th. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one in the dirt, and the count's even 2-2.
2-2 to Smith.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 6-2 Rogues. Dylan Pierce fires, and that pitch is just outside, and the count's full, 3-2. So the count's full here in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs. Dylan Pierce still on the mound for the Rogues. Gets the sign from Isola, deals, and that ball is hit softly to the shortstop, Scotty Wright. Wright fires it over to Gazzo in time to retire Creed Smith. So at the end of 5, score is 6-2 in favor of the Rogues. Coming up for the Rogues in the the top of the 6th inning, going to be Connor Lowry, Alex Isola, and Josh Berman. We'll be back after this. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com. Welcome back to Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. On the call tonight for you guys in the middle innings, I'm Jonathan Kerman. And I'd like to thank you for bearing with me. This is my first time on the broadcast, and I can tell you, it's one thing to talk to yourself for 9 innings. It's a whole other thing to keep your own book, work your own sound. This is a really tough job. I've gained a new appreciation for what Brian Schnee does on a daily basis. You'll be hearing from him in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Stepping in now for the Rogues, the first baseman, Jake Gazzo.
Number 22, first baseman, Jake Gazzo.
6-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. The first pitch to Gazzo, down and in for ball 1. So wanted to know the count, 6-2 in favor of the Rogues. All 6 of their runs coming in the top of the 5th inning. Here we are in the 6th with Jake Gazzo at the dish. He swings at that pitch foul, and the count's 1-1. Chris Lamas for the Bears is still pitching in this one. He's the pitcher who hit 2 consecutive Rogues batters to drive in the tying runs before giving up a bases-clearing triple to Connor Lowry. Jake Gazzo at the dish. Here's the pitch from Lamas. And that one is a ball. Counts 2-1. Good eye from Jake Gazzo, laying off that pitch. So here's the pitch. Gazzo takes ball 3. So 3 balls and 1 strikes to Jake Gazzo. Hitters count. Lamas stares down, deals. Gazzo hits a towering 5 ball that is going to land, wait for it, thud on top of the press box. So that makes the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the 6th inning. 6-2 in favor of your Rogues here in Marysville against the Yuba City Bears. Fans, we're on the road for 7 days, but when we come back on Tuesday, June 13th, we have some very special promotions for you, which I will be telling you about in just a minute. We have a full count here with Jake Gazzo at the plate. Lamas set, fires, and that pitch catches the outside corner. Jake Gazzo is sent down looking. So 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning for the Rogues. Up to the dish is now third baseman Clay Valenzuela-Reese. So some of those terrific promotions that we have for you guys when the Rogues return on Tuesday, June 13th. Well, we come back and it's a $2 Tuesday, courtesy of Ram Brewery, which means all bleacher tickets to Tuesday's game are just $2. Here's the first pitch to Valenzuela-Reese. That pitch is down and in, ball 1. Then on Thursday, June 15th, it's Superhero Night. Meet all of your favorite superheroes at the ballpark, dress as your favorite superhero, and be entered to win a special grand prize from International Fitness and the Rogues. That one's always a fun night. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Valenzuela-Reese. He swings at that one. That's going to be fouled down the first base side. And then on Saturday, June 17th, Star Wars Night. Just a couple of days ago, we made our announcement that Star Wars Night is back at Harry and David Field, and it's going to be bigger and badder than ever. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Clay Valenzuela-Reese. That one's down, ball 2. Some things you can expect at Star Wars Night. Officially licensed Lucasfilms characters in full Star Wars garb. Have a chance to compete in a costume contest. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Valenzuela-Reese. He swings and hits that one deep to left field. That ball is just foul. That thing was headed to the wall. But Valenzuela-Reese will take the long walk back to home plate, and we'll do this again. So Star Wars characters on Star Wars Night. Dress up as your own character. Compete in a costume contest for special prizes. The Rogues will be wearing special Dark Side-themed jerseys, which you can then bid on after the game. All proceeds from that auction benefit Hearts with a Mission, Then, stick around after the game for post-game fireworks to the tune of Star Wars music. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Valenzuela Reese. That one's in the dirt for ball 3, and the count's full, 3-2. And if that wasn't enough for you, on Sunday we have a very special Father's Day celebration. We're opening up the park earlier that day before the game. We're inviting all fathers, father figures, to come and play catch with your son, your daughter, and the Rogues players. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Valenzuela Reese, and that one's in the dirt. And Valenzuela Reese hustles on down to first for the walk. Valenzuela Reese walked back in the second inning, and it's twice tonight when he gets a walk, it is a full-on sprint down to the first base line. It's like he's worried that if the pitcher gets the ball back in time, he's going to be out. So Valenzuela Reese hustles down to first on the walk, and it looks like that's going to be it for Chris Lamas. So Chris Lamas exits the game in a 6-2 lead for the Rogues. And we'll take a quick break as we have this pitching change. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. I'm Jonathan Kerman. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Medford Rogues Baseball. I'm Jonathan Kerman on the call. Brian Schnee is taking a few innings off. He'll be back for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. We have a pitching change here in Marysville. Chris Lamas is being relieved by number 29, Jake Olafson. Olafson's a right-handed pitcher out of Yuba City College, hails from Livermore, California. And on the other side of the break, I was talking to you about some really terrific promotions we have coming up for you guys when the Rogues return home the week of June 13th. Sunday, June 18th, Father's Day. We're opening up the park. Come on down, play a game of catch with the Rogues players, with your family. Everybody is invited. We're also having a special Father's Day brunch with World Series champion Freddie Sandoval out on the patio. It's a biscuits and gravy brunch held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Should be a lot of fun. And that night, all fathers and father figures get in for free. That's Sunday, June 18th at Harry and David Field. So the lineup turns over for the Rogues here in the top of the 6th inning. Clay Valenzuela Reese on first. One out here, and Davis DeLorfis is at the dish. So Jake Olafson on the mound, a lanky right-hander, sets, deals. The first pitch, DeLorfis swings at it, hits a fly ball to center field. TJ Dove is there, but it's Creed Smith coming on, making the catch. Looks like TJ Dove might have lost it in the lights, but Creed Smith was there to cover his bum. So 2 outs now in the top of the 6th inning. 6-2 in favor of the Rogues. All 6 of those runs coming back in the 5th inning on a really wild inning. 2 hit batters in bases loaded situations for the Rogues brought home the 2 tying runs. And then Connor Lowry hit a bases clearing double. Alex Isola would then bring him home on an RBI single, and that accounts for all 6 runs for the Rogues this evening. Stepping in now is the shortstop, Scotty Wright. Here's the first pitch to Wright. Valenzuela Reese takes off for second. The pitch is not in time. Valenzuela Reese steals second. Valenzuela Reese got a great jump on that. I don't think Jake Olafson was even into the stretch when Valenzuela Reese took off. So no chance to grab Reese at second. And the Rogues have a runner in scoring position with 2 out here in the top of the 6th inning. Scotty Wright at the dish. Jacob Olafson, steps off the mound and now wants to have a conversation with Colin Lawrence. Fans, Rogue Regency Inn & Suites is the official host hotel of the Medford Rogues. Whether you're in Southern Oregon for a quick stay or a longer visit, Rogue Regency has a warm, casually elegant atmosphere with plenty to offer, including Chadwick's, the official sports bar of the Medford Rogues. Make sure you head to the post-game party headquarters, Chadwick's Pub and Sports Bar, and the Rogue Regency Inn & Suites. 1-0, the count to Scotty Wright here in the top of the 6th inning. Valenzuela Reese on second after a walk and a stolen base. Here's the pitch to Wright. Wright checks his swing, but it's a called strike. And the count is 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the 6th inning, 2 outs. Rogues on top, 6-2, here in Marysville. Scotty Wright at the dish, Valenzuela Reese on second. And Olafson and Lawrence are going to have another conversation. They are clearly not on the same page. Olafson, a really lanky kid, coming in at 6'5" and under 200 pounds. He is 6'5" of skin and bones. Oh, it looks like we're all set. 2 outs on the top of the 6th inning. Runner on second. Scotty Wright at the dish. 0-2 the count. Olafson set and fires. And that pitch is popped up into the foul ground, and it's going to bounce. Foul. The catcher, was not able to get underneath that one. And the count stays 0-2. The Rogues would like to thank the Rogue Credit Union for their continued support of Medford Rogues baseball in the Southern Oregon community. Rogue Credit Union, living local. It's a Rogue thing. So 2 outs, 2 strikes here in the top of the 6th inning. 6-2 ball game. Your Rogues on top. Here's the pitch. The off-speed pitch is called outside. And that's the first ball of the at-bat. So 1-2 now the count to Scotty Wright, with Clay Valenzuela Reese on second. Reese walked and then stole the bag earlier in the inning. Olaf set, checks the runner at second, and fires. And that pitch is outside, and the count's even 2-2. 6 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Medford Rogues. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Yuba City Bears. And I tell you, it feels good having a 0 in the error column for the Medford Rogues. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Olafson sets, fires, and that one is over the head of Scotty Wright, over the head of the catcher. Rolls all the way to the backstop. Clay Valenzuela Reese quick on the read. Scampers over to third base. And the Rogues have a runner 90 feet from home, trying to tack onto this lead. So the count's full now to Scotty Wright. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Clay Valenzuela Reese at third in a 6-2 ball game here in the top of the 6th inning. Olafson set and fires. And that pitch is fouled back off the first base side, and we'll do it again. So we're settled in again. Scotty Wright plants his feet in the batter's box. Olafson sets and fires. That pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3 called, and that will end the threat. So no runs, a walk, a stolen base, no runs. And we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. 6-2 in favor of your Medford Rogues. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans, live on MedfordRogues.com. I'm Jonathan Kerman. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Medford Rogues Baseball. I'm Jonathan Kerman on the call. Brian Schnee's taking a couple innings off. He'll be back for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But you have one more half inning with me in a 6-2 ball game. Rogues on top here in Marysville against the Yuba City Bears. Dylan Pierce still on the mound for the Rogues. And the first pitch is a ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Pierce. That ball is swung on and fouled back. That's Josh Winkler at the plate, and the count's even 1 apiece. Winkler playing third for the Bears tonight. It's 1 for 2. 6 runs, 4 hits for the Rogues, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Bears here in Marysville. Winkler adjusting his gloves. The sun has set here in Marysville. It's a beautiful night. The sky is a deep, deep dark blue. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Winkler takes that one in the dirt, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Very interesting game here in Marysville. We had a home run by Logan Worm, the DH, hit it over the left field wall. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Pierce. That one swung on and missed, and the count's even 2-2. The solo shot in the second, the solo shot in the second by Worm made the score 2-0 in favor of the Bears. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one paints the outside corner. Josh Winkler is called out on strikes. He doesn't like it, but he walks back frustrated. That's the 6th strikeout for Dylan Pierce. And we have one away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the Bears were leading 2-0 going into the top of the 5th inning before a wild inning by the Rogues. Stepping in now to the batter's box for the Bears, shortstop Kalen Crisosto. Crisosto, first pitch swinging. That one's hit to shallow right field, and it's going to be the second baseman, Davis DeLorfis, who makes the catch. And just like that, there are 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Crisosto got jammed on that pitch. Dylan Pierce threw an inside fastball. And pinch hitting for Brendan Nelson in left field, One second as I check my book. Jarrell Quinones out of Scottsdale College, the right-handed batter, looked at a strike, and the count's 1-1. So Quinones pinch hitting for Brendan Nelson, for those of you keeping score at home. If you are keeping score at home, we'd sure appreciate your help. Here's the 1-1 pitch that is swung on and fouled back to the screen, and the count's 1-2. So it was 2-0 going into the top of the 5th inning. Bears on top before the Rogues loaded the bases with just 1 swing. 1 ball in play, rather. That ball is fouled back, and the count's 1-2. A single and 2 walks loaded the bases before Chris Lamas came in, relieving Landon Mitchell. Lamas then hit 2 batters in a row to tie the game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one catches the outside corner. Dylan Pierce has struck out another. Dylan Pierce is dealing right now. So 3 up and 3 down for the Yuba City Bears. We are headed to the 7th inning, 6-2 in favor of the Rogues. I've been Jonathan Kerman. Thank you so much for bearing with me. We will be back right after this. You are listening to Medford Rogues Baseball live on MedfordRogues.com, brought to you by Evergreen Home Loans. I'm Jonathan Kerman. Thanks for listening. Brian Schnee will have the last 3 innings. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back. Top of the 7th inning. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group. Live at MedfordRogues.com. First pitch of the top of the 7th is upstairs to Johnny De La Cruz. Jake Olofsson is in there for the Yuba City Bears. Next pitch outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Rogues lead 6-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. The right-hander deals the 2-0. Fouled out of play, 2 balls and a strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Yuba City 1-4 on the season. The Rogues 3-3. Here is the 2-1 pitch. Below the kneecaps, 3 balls and a strike. De La Cruz 0 for 1 tonight. On the season, 9 for 25, 4 RBI. Johnny did score a run, have an RBI because he walked in the top of the 5th inning. The Rogues tacked on 6 runs in the top half, and it wasn't a true offensive explosion from the bats. Better yet, good fortune. And De La Cruz draws a walk. Brian Schnee with you here tonight in Marysville, along with Jonathan Kerman. Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. And Hellwig steps in, the left-handed batter's box, now with a runner over at first base. Check over to first. It bounces in front of the first baseman, going to go down the right field line. De La Cruz stands up easily at second base without a throw. And no pitch to Hellwig on the at-bat. Runner at second base is De La Cruz. No outs, top 7. Six to 2, Rogues on top here in the top of the 7th inning. Olofsson looks at the plate here. No count to Hellwig. Hellwig rips that one to left field on a good line to the left fielder. And Jarrell Quinones makes the catch in left for out number 1.
Now batting for the Medford Rogues, center fielder number 10.
Quinones in left now, with Connor Lowry stepping in. Lowry 1 for 3 tonight, had that big double in the 5th inning. First pitch of the at-bat to Lowry is a called strike count, 0-1. 1 out, De La Cruz over at second. Olofsson looks at second, slide step, and deals downstairs. The count is 1-1. Alex Isola on deck. Just had a second to speak with the Isola family. Sitting down behind home plate, elevated with a great view of the ballpark. They live quite close to here. The Isolas over in Lincoln. And they're excited for when the Rogues take on the Lincoln Potters on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right in their backyard. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. De La Cruz at second. Here's a 2-1. Lowry puts it down the right field line. It's going to drop. De La Cruz, no doubt about it, will score from second. Lowry on his horse with a stand-up double. Nope, he decides to slide in for good measure. Why not? And an RBI double. Second double of the night. The big one coming in the 5th inning where he drove in a couple. This one here, he just drives in De La Cruz, who gives a little sign of approval. Gets a double tap on the rear end from Jaden France and Jake Gazzo. And the Rogues lead 7-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. And Alex Isola steps in. Great piece of hitting from Connor Lowry. De La Cruz scores his 2nd run of the night. Of course, he did score in the 5th as well. And again here in the 7th inning. It is 7-2 Medford Rogues, 1 out here in the top of the 7th, and it's Lowry at second now. Isola calls time before the pitch is delivered. So no count here to the Rogues catcher, Alex Isola. Had his first hit as a Rogue in the 5th. RBI as well. On a single to left field. The right-hander sets and deals, fouled straight back into the screen. The count is 0-1. Morton's offers something for everyone. They've got a full sports bar, separate family dining side of the restaurant, even delivery. Check out the website, mortons.com. That's Morton's with 2 R's. That's Morton Sports Bar in East Medford. A proud provider of Medford Rogues baseball, live here on medfordrogues.com. Olofsson is the count at 0-1. The bender. And a balk was called. So Lowry advances to third base. Home plate umpire put 2 hands up to call timeout. I'm assuming that pitch will not count. Based on the drawn reaction, the count is indeed 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Isola. Now with a runner over at third. Fouled straight back into the screen. The count quickly 0-2. 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. So as I was talking to the Isola family, we quickly got to the 7th inning here. I'm now catching my breath after running up the steps here. I think I'm going to have to take advantage of a run or 2 here on the road trip. Can't be breathing this heavy on the broadcast. The count 0-2, and Isola swings through the fastball, striking out for the 2nd out of the inning. This brings up Rogues designated hitter number 7, Josh Berman. Berman walked in the 5th and scored. And now 2 outs. Hellwig flew out to left. Isola struck out. De La Cruz scored in this inning on a double from Connor Lowry. And now stands up at third after a balk on the right-hander. Here's Berman with 2 outs. The righty deals. Berman swings at the first pitch, slaps it to the second baseman, and the play is made by Eric Cortez for out number 3. 1 run scored in the top of the 7th, and it's a 7-2 lead for the Medford Rogues here on the road in Marysville, California. The Yuba City Bears, they tacked on 2 runs early. That's all Rogues here late. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on medfordrogues.com.
on the road with the Rogues. Take the Rogues with you by following along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Welcome back here live on MedfordRogues.com. Great to have you with us. Tonight we're not in Southern Oregon, though. A little change of pace for us. And a nice, big, warm welcome from the folks down here in Marysville. We love being alongside them. Lucas Howard back with the program. Number 17, the right-hander, joins the game here for the Medford Rogues. The freshman from Southwest Oregon Community College, a Reno, Nevada native. 6'2", 180. Hops in the ball game here to throw the bottom of the 7th. Just finished at Calusa Casino Stadium singing God Bless America and had a little extended break here in the bottom of the 7th. Nice to have you with us live on MedfordRogues.com, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. I would love to say we now have our Twitter game up and going. We arrived here a little bit late to the ballpark, and happy to have you along with us, and happy we were on for the first pitch. For those of you that would like to know a brief synopsis of the day, Interstate 5 blown tire. That's all you get. Not the bus, don't you worry. Just Brian Schnee and Jonathan Kerman, and we made it here. So we were happy to have such a nice warm welcome from the folks here in Marysville, the home site of the Marysville Gold Sox and the Yuba City Bears. And again, great to have you with us live here on the Rogues Road Trip. Night 1 of 7. We will sleep, I promise, on the road trip, but the Rogues hoping that they don't do too much sleeping, just wins. They dropped 3 in a row to Chico. And now they're back here looking for revenge against Yuba City, who did not take this game lightly one bit. Yuba City scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second. A home run from Logan Worm, actually, off of Dylan Pierce. And you know what? The tone was set for Yuba City at that point. But the Rogues somehow turned on the Jets in the 5th. A lot of good fortune. Mix it in with a couple good pieces of hitting. And the Rogues have the lead 7-2. But speaking of good pieces of hitting, Dominic Diana sees the first pitch from Lucas Howard and a throw to second on a play down to the right field line, and he's thrown out by the right fielder. What a great throw from Jake Hellwig. Scooped it up, falling away from the play, and he had a cannon. Oh, boy. Jake not just doing it at the plate. Oh, no. One heck of a play from right field on a punch-out.
Now batting for the Bears, number 15, designated hitter Logan Worm.
This brings up Logan Worm, who hit the home run to left in the 2nd inning. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Oh, my, what a play. Wish we had the fortune of instant replay. You're just going to have to trust the vocal cords on that one. What a play in right. Isola steps out, and we'll have a discussion with Lucas Howard. It might not be this Sunday, but when we do have our next Sunday game, thanks to Fred Meyer, the Rogues will offer specially priced family ticket packages. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 fountain drinks, and 4 souvenir baseballs for just $44. These ticket packages are only offered at each of the 3 Fred Meyer stores locally in the Rogue Valley. Don't miss out on the fun at Harry and David Field. It's Fred Meyer, Family Fun Sundays, all season long, all summer long. It's going to fly by, so make sure you take advantage. And join us on a Sunday at Harry and David Field. The count 1-0 to Logan Worm, downstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball on the road, live on MedfordRogues.com. Howard gets Worm to foul it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pardon, 2 balls, 1 strike. I am getting fooled because dead center, beautiful scoreboard, illuminated now. The strike column does not work. So I didn't figure that out until a couple innings too. I thought I was going crazy. Count 2-1 with 1 out. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the 2-1 from Howard. Just off the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike. I still can't get that play from Jake Hellwig in right out of my head. Falling towards the wall. I think the proper terminology was a cannon from right. And Logan Worm draws a 5-pitch walk with 1 out. TJ Dub will step in.
Number 24, TJ Dub.
Dove 0 for 2 tonight, victim of the strikeout twice. Eric Cortez on deck. One out, one runner on. First pitch to Dove, catching the strike zone. Count 0-1. Outer half there for Howard. Good command. Next pitch out of the zone, 1-1.
1-1 to Dove.
Count is 1-1, 1 out. Bottom 7. Rogues on top 7-2. Lucas Howard runs it up and in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rogues trying to get over the hump. 3-3 on the season. Count is 2-1. Pardon, now 2-1 off the bat of TJ Dove, who fouls it straight back. Runner over at first. Howard catches the sign. Runner over at first. Here's the 2-1. Dove swings and misses. Count is 2-2.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, second baseman number 22.
And Dove strikes out.
Cortez.
And this brings up Eric Cortez. Third time Dove has struck out tonight. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So Cortez steps in. Off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, 7-2 lead for the Rogues. 6 in the top of the 5th, 1 here in the top of the 7th. 5 hits for the Medford Rogues, just 4 for Yuba, and 1 error. Relatively clean game. The problem with the 5th inning, and I use the word problem because it indeed was. I mean, hit batsman came into play, and that's how the Rogues were able to capitalize. 2 back-to-back, I believe, that set the tone for the Rogues. And as we've seen momentum take its course in this season, a good example, hate to bring up and beat a dead horse. Last night, 13 runs in the top of the 2nd inning against the Rogues. That is momentum, and that is something that's hard to come back from. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, called strike 3-1.
3-1 to Cortez.
The 3-1, chopped over to the second baseman. Delorfis fires to first, and they end the bottom of the 7th inning. A 7-2 lead for the Medford Rogues as we go to the top of the 8th. Rogues in command. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Be sure to follow the Rogues on social media for giveaways, special behind-the-scenes features, and more. Like us on Facebook at Medford Rogues Baseball and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Medford Rogues.
Top of the 8th inning. Nice to have you back here with us in Marysville. 7-2 lead for the Rogues. Jake Gazzo steps in to take on Malcolm Boehm, who's in there from the bullpen. The right-hander appears to be someone who just goes right from the stretch. A lot of these late inning guys, comfortable. They're used to that scenario. And we've seen Malcolm before playing for the Bears up in Medford. Malcolm was in multiple lineups over the course of the first 3 nights at Harry and David Field. First pitch to Gazzo is in there for a strike, count 0-1. Count 1-1 to Gazzo. The right-hander deals. Gazzo fouls it straight back. Had there not been a screen, I think this one would have been right through the window. Here's the 1-1. Gazzo settles in. Off the plate, 2 balls, 1 strike. Gazzo makes the connection. Fly ball to shallow right. The first baseman backpedals. Diana makes the catch. Out number 1.
Now batting for the Medford Rogue, third baseman number 13,
Clay Valenzuela-Reese will step in. Again, 7-2 the score here in the top of the 8th. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball. Live here on MedfordRogues.com. First pitch is a curveball to Valenzuela-Reese. In there for a strike.
Oh, and one to Reese.
Clay has walked twice tonight. In his one plate appearance, he flew out to right field. Count is 1-1 to Valenzuela-Reese. A little mound visit from Lawrence. Out to Malcolm Boehm, who is making his first appearance as a pitcher. Again, we did see Malcolm in the lineup when the Yuba City Bears were in Medford. The count is 1-1. The right-hander goes to the plate. Off speed, hit hard to center field. Coming in and making a nice play and a nice attempt at it is TJ Dove. It fell out of the glove on a full extension dive. He kicked his feet out underneath. And instead it's going to be, I would perceive, to be a single for Clay Valenzuela-Reese. Honestly, a nice job keeping the ball in front. That's where the notable mental side of the game comes in for Dove. I mean, when you go at that baseball, what am I going to do here? If I can't make that play, that ball better not get behind me. So he holds it to a single, and this brings up Davis DeLorfis. Runner over at first, 1 out. Inside, count is 1-1 to DeLorfis. Valenzuela-Reese over at first. Boehm goes to the plate. Off the plate, they'll check down at Clay. The throw is short. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. 6 hits for your Medford Rogues here on the road, taking on the Yuba City Bears. Yuba on the scoreboard, right where the Gold Sox are on the bottom of the center field scoreboard. The 2-1, outside 3-1. While Rowdy may be the the best mascot in the Great West League, I think we know that to be an obvious choice. The bear is pretty cool looking. I mean, the color scheme is pretty sweet for Yuba. The purple, the blue, the all-white unis. The bear's great. I just got to learn his name. Ball 4. Runners now on first and second. Valenzuela Reese reaching with a single to center, and Delorfis with a walk. This brings up Scotty Wright. One out here with runners on first and second. Wright steps in. He scored in the 5th. He is 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout, but an RBI and a run. Victim of a hit batsman. Back-to-back, it was Wright and De La Cruz. Wright fouls the first pitch out of play, count 0-1. 1 out, 7-2 Rogues. Off the plate, 1-1. Johnny De La Cruz on deck, has scored twice, has walked twice, was also hit once, has scored 2 runs with the RBI, technically 1 plate appearance, or at least 1 at bat. 1-1 the count to Scotty Wright. Lifts it in the infield to the right side. Underneath is Diana, and he makes the catch over at first. Out number 2. This brings up Johnny De La Cruz.
Now batting for the Rogues, number 2 left fielder, Johnny De La Cruz.
Dylan Pierce went 6 innings for the Medford Rogues, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 earned runs, and 4 hits. Great appearance for Dylan, who actually let up a solo home run in the 2nd, got hit a little bit early, and then settled down. Talk about getting in the groove. 2 outs, runners on first and second. De La Cruz steps in. Outside corner for a strike, count 0-1. Yuba City looking for their 2nd win as a Great West League ball club. Their first coming against Marysville. 1-4 on the year. 3-3 are the Rogues. The 0-1 is low, 1-1. Tonight's game started at 7:05. First time we've mixed it up all year long. The Rogues have held it pretty consistent, 6:35 at Harry and David Field all season long. Times vary on the road. Make sure you go to our website, medfordrogues.com, and check out the schedule with updated times. I know that's something that'll change throughout the course of the week, especially Sunday. The final game of our 7-game road trip is a 6:05 first pitch in Lincoln, not a 7 o'clock. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to De La Cruz. The right-hander deals. De La Cruz fouling it away. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners on. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 away. 7-2 lead for the Rogues here in the top of the 8th. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Helwig is on deck. 0 for 4 at the plate, but made quite the play out and right in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the 2-2. De La Cruz fends it off into the screen. The count is again 2 balls and 2 strikes. Your Medford Rogues are back in action tomorrow night, right back here in Marysville, California. 7:05 first pitch, taking on the Yuba City Bears. 6:55 pregame show live on MedfordRogues.com. De La Cruz hits it on the ground to the shortstop. Cristoso across the diamond makes the play, and That will strand 2 for the Rogues on the bags. And it's a 7-2 lead for Medford as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Rogues trying to hold on here on the road and break a 3-game losing skid. Again, a 5-run lead for Medford. Bottom of the 8th here in Marysville. We return in a minute. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Back here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, Lucas Howard back on the hill for your Medford Rogues. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com. 1 ball, no strikes. The count. And now 2-0. Colin Lawrence, the catcher. Back up here, 0 for 2 tonight. Fouls that one off himself in the right-handed batter's box. The count is 2-1. Lawrence swings and misses. The count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Lawrence, who was struck out twice tonight. The 2-2. That one looked good. Just outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And here's the 3-2. Up and in. Lawrence had to duck for it, and he walks on a 6-pitch at bat.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, number 4, right fielder, Creed Smith.
Creed Smith, the leadoff batter for the Yuba City Bears, steps in. He scored the first run of this ball game, having a double to lead off the ball game. Winkler hit a single after that, and Kalen Crisosto, had a single, and Winkler was thrown out at second. Smith came around to score on the play for the run in the bottom of the first. Count 0-1 to Smith. No balls, 1 strike. Off the plate, 1-1.
1-1 to Smith.
Count is 1-1 to Smith. The right-hander goes to the plate. Howard bounces it. Nice stop by Isola. And he fired down the second. DeLorfis caught the baseball. The runner was about halfway down the base path. and realized that he was probably dead meat, so he went back to first. Nice stop by Isola. Even better throw right in tagging spot. Count 2-1. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. They'll throw down to first, and they got him. What a great throw. Isola had Lawrence dancing, and Lawrence is going to hang out. And the first base coach says, I don't think so, to the umpire. How about that confidence from Isola coming on in and not only just throwing down to first, but he threw down to second 2 plays before, and again, would have been a great result had the runner committed all the way. That's something you can see into the future for. The count is 2-2. Lifted. You might hear this one on the press box. Yes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 away now that Lawrence was thrown out at first. Howard steps off. The count is 2-2.
Count is 2-2. Smith.
Howard leg kicks and fires. The mixer is up and in, 3-2.
Count is full to Smith.
Fans, we can't tell you how many times we get a stray ball, a foul ball at the ballpark when we need our windows fixed to replace. The only team we trust are the folks at Bill's Glass, locations in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass. They are the fastest and most affordable glass service in Southern Oregon. Hit hard to center. Connor Lowry commits and dives. It drops in front of the 410 sign. And on his way to third is Creed Smith with a stand-up triple. He tattooed that 3-2 pitch to left center field, and Lowry committed with a dive. So now 1 out, runner on third for the Yuba City Bears.
Currently the Heat over the Potters, 10-9, and Chico top of the 7th. Now batting for the Bears, third baseman number 8, Josh Winkler.
Christian Coronado goes out to talk to his young right-hander. Josh Winkler will step in. Runner over at third. Again, you can always follow us on social media at Medford Rogues on Twitter and Instagram, at Medford Rogues Baseball on Facebook. Even though we're on the road, we're out taking some pictures tonight. We'll post some of those tonight. Hope you enjoy a different perspective on the road. We'll try to give you something unique as we can do that here with a great night of baseball here in Marysville, a nice backdrop, a nice ballpark. I mean, a great staff. Thanks to everyone here for letting us come on in and roll on in late. Rolled over to DeLorfis, and he throws to first for the out, but a run scores. Winkler picks up the RBI and a 4-3 in the scorer's book. Smith scores, making it 7-3. Here in the bottom of the 8th, 5 hits for Yuba City, 6 for the Medford Rogues. 7-3 Medford on top here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs.
The Bears, number 16, shortstop, Kalen Christosos.
Crisosto swings at the first pitch and rips it to left field. De La Cruz cuts it off. And strong throw to second. DeLorfis right there to make the catch. And Cristoso with a 2-out single. Crisosto is now 2 for 4 tonight with an RBI.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears. Pitch hitter number 33, Andrew Fuentes.
And Andrew Fuentes, the left-handed pitcher that made the start against the Rogues in Medford, steps in to pinch hit here at the bottom of the 8th with a 7-3 lead for Medford. He will step in against Lucas Howard. There is a couple bodies up down the right field line for the Medford Rogues. In the bullpen, not quite sure who is down there. I need the binoculars for this one. It's a Ryan Carl-esque figure holding the baseball. Just not sure if he's coming in the ballgame. Howard goes to the plate. Big swing by Fuentes. The count is 1-1.
1-1 to Fuentes.
Runner over at first. That is Crisosto, who had the 2-out single to left. Nice play by Johnny De La Cruz to cut it off and fire it in to hold him over at first. The 1-1 in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now it's 2-1 to Fuentes.
Howard comes back to his set. Quickly deals the 2-1, blows him by him with the fastball. The count is 2-2. Fuentes has taken 2 huge swings. And Howard has blown it by with the fastball. The count is 2-2. Howard lets it fly. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Up and at the eyes of Fuentes. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball on the road, live on MedfordRogues.com. 3-2, Howard delivers just outside. And a well-earned walk by Andrew Fuentes. Crisosto is at second, Fuentes at first.
Number 32, first baseman,
Dominic Diana comes in with 2 runners on, 2 outs. Fuentes will have someone come in and run for him over at first.
And pitch running for Fuentes, number 27.
And Blake Rose, product of Yuba College, will come in wearing number 27 over at first base. Crisosto over at second, Rose at first, 2 away, bottom 8. 1 has come across for the Yuba City Bears in this inning. It's 7-3 Medford. Howard from the stretch. Nearly let that one get away. Snagged by Isola. Out of the zone, 1 ball, no strikes. Again, the Rogues are back in action tomorrow night. Right back here with a 7:05 first pitch against the Yuba City Bears. The 1-0. Off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes. Howard making a little bit more difficult for himself here by not living around the plate as much as he did last inning. Howard has had a couple pitches nowhere near the strike zone, but has come back with some pitches pounding the inside part of the plate. Here's the 2-0. Downstairs, 3-0. Runners at first and second for Yuba City here in the bottom of the 8th. Almost a sticky evening here in Marysville, something that we have yet to experience really in Southern Oregon this season. So the change of temperature, it must have hit low 90 today, and I think we're back in store for the same tomorrow. 3-0. Great pitch, called strike, 3-1. Count is 3-1. Here's the 3-1 from Howard. Swinging through and missing is Diana. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Deja vu with 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Diana.
Howard catches a sign from Isola. Comes to a set, runners on first and second. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Just outside for ball 4. And Howard once again, that was the same pitch that walked Andrew Fuentes.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, designated hitter number 15.
Bases loaded. Crisosto is at third. Fuentes has Blake Rose running for him at second, and Diana is over at first. Logan Worm, who had a solo shot in the bottom of the second inning, steps in with the bases stacked And 2 outs. First pitch is out of the zone, 1 ball, no strikes. Howard having a tough time pounding the zone in this inning, has given up 2 straight walks and has had no conversation. They're letting him go here with the count 1-0. Big swing from Worm and actually grabbed his back after the swing. It was such a huge swing, I was expecting some sort of breeze. He nearly fell over, and there's no exaggeration there. He grabbed his back after the swing. Here's the 1-1. Another huge hack, and the count is 1-2.
2 outs, bottom of the 8th.
Count 1-2 to Logan Worm. Big kid, 6'2", listed at 200. Looks an inch taller and maybe 5 pounds heavier, and that's no knock, but just a full body up at the plate with a couple big swings. The count is 2-2. Bases stacked here for Worm in the bottom of the 8th. Rogues clinging to a 7-3 lead, and he gets a piece, fouling it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rogues trying to hang on. 6-run top of the 5th, and tacking on 1 more in the top of the 7th inning. Rogues lead 7-3. Yuba City has tacked on 1 in the bottom of the 1st. They led 2-0 after the 2nd, and they scored again in the bottom of the 8th, 7-3, where we stand right now. Worm gets a piece, rips it down the right field line. It's going to drop. 1 run scores. Another one coming around to score. The stop sign is up over at third. And 2-run score for Yuba City. Logan Worm with a stand-up 2 RBI double. Dominic Diana over at third, Logan Worm at second. And talk about a great piece of hitting. Worm had the count at 2-2, fouled one away, and then went with the pitch, fouling it away, and then went with it one more time down the right field line for a 2 RBI double. The Rogues go to the bullpen. It's 7-5. The pressure is on. Medford needing to get out of the bottom of the 8th. Yuba tightening it up. We'll come back with the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
Now taking the mound for the Rogues.
Welcome back here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Malik Evans takes over for the Medford Rogues. And it's 7-5 Rogues with 2 runners on here for Yuba City. They've scored 3 in this inning. TJ Dove at the plate. Logan Worm just had a 2 RBI double. And Dove hits one to the gap. 2 runs will score. That'll tie the game. That one all the way to the wall, and a 2 RBI double ties the ball game for Yuba City. All of this coming with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th.
And now batting for the Yuba City Bears, second baseman number 22, Eric Cortez.
Eric Cortez steps in. Runners on now just second base. That would be TJ Dove, who was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Saw the first pitch from Malik Evans and hit it hard to left field. That one went all the way to the wall. And 2 runs scored. 5 runs here in the bottom of the 8th for Yuba City. It's a tie ball game. 2 outs, now a runner at second base. Cortez steps in. Lawrence on deck. He started the inning. Evans look at second and now bounces one in front of Isola. It is 2 balls, no strikes. Evans looks at the plate. Comes to a set. And goes to the plate. Evans up and in. Count 2 balls, 1 strike to Cortez. Evans deals the pitch. 3 balls, 1 strike. Rogues had a 7-2 lead. Yuba City has scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and we are tied at 7. Evans in. Here's the 2-2 inside. 3-2, and now it's a walk. Runners on first and second. Isola will come out and talk to Malik Evans. And at this point, just throwing strikes. Just throwing strikes. Colin Lawrence will come in.
And ladies and gentlemen, batting for the Yuba City Bears, your catcher tonight, number 11, Colin Lawrence. Game tied, folks.
Rogues would like to thank our partners for this year's broadcast: Rogue Regency, Rogue Credit Union, Heroes, Mary's Barbecue, Valley Immediate Care, Avista, Fred Meyer, Morton's, Alvarez Construction, Hellgate Jet Boats, Crater Lake Ford, and Bill's Glass. Of course, you're joining us, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts on MedfordRogues.com. Big swing from Lawrence on the first pitch. The count is 0-1. And Logan Worm took some big hacks when he was up there. He finally paid off with a 2 RBI double. Same thing for TJ Dove. 5 runs in the inning for Yuba City. And we are tied at 7. Pitch in the dirt. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs. Rogues dugout looks stunned, to say the least. Energy level is up for Yuba City. Evans holds and delivers. Hit sharply to left field. It's going to drop. They're going to make a play at the plate. Valenzuela rallies, and he's punched out at home. De La Cruz to Clay Valenzuela-Reese, and he gives to the catcher for a play at the plate. Isola slaps down the tag, and we are tied at 7. Top of the 9th we go. 7-7 ball game. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Back here for the top of the ninth. First pitch to Jake Hellwig is lifted foul down the left side. The count is 0-1. We are tied at 7 here in Marysville, California. The Yuba City Bears, led by their one mascot, Butte, 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th. And they have completely turned this ball game around. We are tied at 7. And Hellwig steps in. Malcolm Bohm back out there for his second inning of work. I'm not sure what that was. It looked like an ephus. But it is 1-1. I think they got the signs crossed up, and Malcolm may have realized that after the fact. The count is 1-1. Comes back with a fastball. It's low and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and Hellwig fouls it away. Pardon, now the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hellwig is due in this ball game. He made a great play in the field, but in terms of up at the plate, Hellwig tonight is 0 for 4. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Righty-lefty matchup, and here is the 2-2. Hellwig hits it hard to left field. One bounce to the left fielder, Quinones, and it's a leadoff single for Jake Hellwig. Great piece of hitting by Hellwig, who saw the pitch he needed after fouling a couple down the left side. Pounced at the opportunity to see one in the zone, and he hit it hard to left field. Connor Lowry, 2 doubles, has scored tonight, a couple RBI. Lowry just big-time player. Runners off, and Lowry gets hit on the hand. Runner on first and second as Lowry got the fingertips clipped, and Hellwig over at second. A good perspective, honestly, from the crew next to me, thinking that it got the inside part of the bat, and I almost thought so as well, but Lowry, right out of the gate, sold it to be believable. And Malcolm Bohm's night is over. Nice job in relief by Malcolm, holding the Rogues in the top of the 8th. We will introduce to you who is next on the mound for the Yuba City Bears when we return in just a moment. Runners on first and second were tied at 7. No one out here in the top of the 9th inning. Medford Rogues baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com.
At People's Bank, we know that banking doesn't have to be complicated. Good banking happens when we put people first. Here at People's Bank, we're for the people with big dreams. We're here for families working on creating a better life for their children. We're for businesses investing locally to create a better community we're proud to call home. This is Ken Troutman, president of People's Bank. When we put people first, families grow stronger, businesses thrive, and our community flourishes. People's Bank. We put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Number 23, Noah Gilmore, comes in to throw for the Yuba City Bears. As the Bears have no outs here in the top of the 9th, the Rogues are putting something together. Runners on first and second base. It's Jake Hellwig at second, Connor Lowry at first. Hellwig had a 2-2 pitch that he saw into the left field for a single, and Lowry got hit on the hands. Alex Isola, number 24 for the Medford Rogues, is 1 for 4 tonight. Grounded out, flew out, struck out, but also had an RBI single in the hit parade of the 5th inning for the Medford Rogues. And I say hit parade, but it really wasn't as many hits as it was benefiting from being hit. A couple batters hit consecutively, and the Rogues have just 6 hits tonight, as does Yuba. 7-7, the score, 6-6 in the hit column, and the Yuba City Bears have committed an error. The Rogues playing a great game defensively, and Isola up to a big spot. And what's exciting is the Isola family is on hand tonight, cheering on Alex in his first night as a Medford Rogue. Alex is from Lincoln, California, 35 minutes Southeast, where the Rogues will be
Now batting for the Rogues, number 24,
on Friday night,
tonight,
taking
Alex
on the Potters
Sola.
at McPean Stadium Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of two new teams to the Great West League this year, and the other one just so happens to be who the Rogues are taking on tonight for their fourth time already on this young season. So Isola is going to step in the right-handed batter's box to face the right-hander Noah Gilmore. Now, Gilmore did throw against the Medford Rogues in Medford. So they have seen him before. Runners on first and second. Gilmore steps off and wants to have a conversation with Lawrence. Gilmore has made 3 appearances, thrown 3 1/3 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, struck out 4, walked 2, and has a 2.70 ERA. He's surrendered 5 hits. Gilmore making now his 4th appearance, and the conference on the mound is over. Runners at first and second for the Medford Rogues here in the top of the 9th. We are tied at 7. Gilmore comes to a complete set, stares at second. Back to the plate, laid down by Isola. A good bunt right back to Gilmore. He slips, going to fire to first, makes a nice play over to first, but 2 runners advance for the Rogues. So Jake Helwig at third, Connor Lowry at second, and Alex Isola did not square too early, but squared right on time and laid it down just to the left side of the mound, which forces the right-hander to come across the mound towards his pitching arm after a follow-through and make a play. And got to give Gilmore the credit. He made a nice play over to first. A lot of guys would struggle with that. The right side of the infield is in. The shortstop, Chrysosto, is at the grass, as is Josh Winkler in the hot corner. This brings up Josh Berman, the right-handed hitter, against the righty Noah Gilmore. Runners on second and third with 1 out. First pitch is right down the middle for a strike, count 0-1. Big time here for the Rogues. Josh Berman up at the plate has scored once tonight. Count 0-1 to the former Medford Mustang. 0 for 2 tonight, 2 walks and a run. Gilmore steps off. Count 0-1. Helwig gives a couple claps over at third. Standing quietly at second for the 3rd time tonight is Connor Lowry. Gilmore deals the 0-1. Outside, 1-1. Same pitch that the Rogues had Lucas Howard tried to nail down, and he missed it a couple times. And good to see, honestly, this one's been consistent all throughout 9 innings. Here in the top half, that pitch, that exact pitch on the outer half has been called a ball since the first inning. The count is 1-1 to Berman. The bender fouled away. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gilmore shows off the curveball, and Berman fought it off. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. Jake Gazzo on deck. 1 for 4 tonight, 2 strikeouts and a run. Berman steps in, looking for a hit here tonight, has walked twice. Gilmore, the ball behind the hip. Gets the sign from Lawrence, comes to his set. Here's the 1-2. Berman fouls it out of play. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. For the Rogues, Dylan Pierce went 6 strong innings. Faced 22 batters, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 earned runs, 4 hits. Lucas Howard came in, faced 11 batters, had 1 strikeout, 5 earned runs, 4 walks in 1 2/3 innings. And Malik Evans came in and allowed 2 hits. Those runs were earned by Howard that came home when Malik came in the game. He also walked a batter. For the Bears, Gilmore is the 5th pitcher tonight for the Yuba City Bears. Starter Landon Mitchell went 4 1/3, allowing 3 earned runs, striking out 2, walking 5. Here's the 1-2 to Berman. Plunked him. Bases loaded. This brings up Jake Gazzo with 1 out. Top 9, tied at 7. Berman stands up over at first. Lowry at second, and Jake Helwig at third. Intently taking notes over at first base and at third is Jeff Lyle and Josh Hogan. And coming in the ball game is a pinch hitter. Dante Gutierrez comes in.
Number 20, Dante Gutierrez.
First night where Dante has not started in a ball game. He started all 6 games prior to tonight as the catcher for the Medford Rogues. He comes in for Jake Gazzo here, product of the University of San Diego. A San Diego area native, has spent plenty of time up at the plate tonight, prior to tonight rather, and this one being his first plate appearance. Bases stacked. Gutierrez sees the first pitch inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Gutierrez hitting .263, 5 hits, 7 walks this year to lead the team. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. The right-hander goes to the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Looked a little bit below the kneecaps. That was a close pitch. Runners on every single base for Medford here in the top of the 9th. First baseman, Diana, on the infield grass. Third baseman, Josh Winkler, even with the bag. The 2-0 is called a strike. Count now 2-1 with 1 out. Crisosto is playing closer to the bag. Over at second, Cortez back towards the hole. 2 balls, 1 strike. The right-hander goes to the plate. Gutierrez slaps one into center. The catch is made by the center fielder. They're going to try one at home, and this should be a dead meat play, and it is. It's a double play by the Yuba City Bears, and Helwig had no chance. The center fielder, T.J. Dove, slid, catch the baseball, and fired home. The Rogues had the bases loaded and could not capitalize with 1 out. A double play by the Bears. We are tied at 7. To the bottom half of the 9th we go. The momentum clearly with Yuba. The Rogues need to shut it down here on the road. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. Yuba City goes to the bench. Trey Yukamoto comes in to bat for the Yuba City Bears in the place of Creed Smith, the right fielder and a leadoff hitter. Malik Evans deals the first pitch to the left-handed batter downstairs, 1-0. Make sure you're following along with the Rogues this season on Twitter and Instagram at Medford Rogues, on Facebook at Medford Rogues Baseball. Evans deals the 1-0 up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. We are tied at 7. Bottom of the 9th. Rogues had the bases loaded in the top half, and they could not capitalize with 1 out. Evans hurls a strike right down the heart of the plate. Count is 2-1. Here's the 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Evans gets the sign from Isola. Ball 4. So Yukamoto goes down to first base. This brings up number 18, or rather number 8, Josh Winkler. So a runner on first. With no outs here for Yuba City. Scenario doesn't get much better for Yuba. Here at home, a runner on, bottom 9, no outs. Curveball in there for a strike. Winkler pulled back the bunt. The scenario doesn't get much better for Yuba City. They were down 7-2. They scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th. They got the Rogues out of a bases-loaded scenario with 1 out. Now Malik Evans barking at the home plate umpire, and I think he has a case because it was the same exact pitch. Called a ball. Not sure where that one missed in comparison to the last pitch, but the count is now 1-1. Winkler has the count at 1-1. Evans mixes up the timing. Winkler fouls it away. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs, and Yukamoto over at first. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. This is Medford Rogues Baseball, live on MedfordRogues.com. 7-7, bottom 9. Yuba City looking to steal things in their own ballpark. The Rogues had this ball game. They were leading 7-2 midway through the 8th. The Bears had other ideas. They did not want to go down easy. The 1-2. Winkler fans at it. Isola throws it into center field. Yukamoto could have gotten an extra base on it, and Isola got away with it. So a strikeout, and Yukamoto advanced to second. The throw was errant and actually trickled into center field. Yukamoto could have been 90 feet away.
Put your hands together and shout real loud, Kalen Cristoso.
Crisosto steps in. Evans has 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Yukamoto at second base is the winning run if the Bears can keep it going. And Crisosto is going to be the recipient of an intentional walk from Malik Evans. 1 ball, no strikes, now 2-0. Strategy at its finest. Doesn't make the crew here at Calusa Casino Stadium happy. They want action. That one thrown over the plate by Evans, but up high. 3 balls, no strikes. And the intentional walk, the final pitch coming, and it's ball 4. Crisosto is over at first. Yukamoto at second. And Blake Rose steps in. Christian Coronado going to go out and talk to Malik Evans. And I swear that they have just turned up the volume here in Marysville. My goodness. Trying to rally behind the Yuba City Bears, the Medford Rogues. The entire infield comes in. This was a Rogues win. In sights. Yuba, other plans here at home. And the music very loud here. 7-7 the score here in the bottom of the 9th. Evans back on the mound with Blake Rose at the plate. Runners on first and second. Momentum shift for the Bears. Evans trying to cool the Jets. Here's the pitch. Up and in. One ball, no strikes. Blake Rose at the plate. Runners on first and second. Evans. Rose fouls it straight back. Here's the count it now 1-1 with one out. Winkler did strike out. It does not show on the scoreboard, but there is one out, and the count is 1-1. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike. Evans comes to his set. The count is 2-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 2. The energy felt here at the park. The emotion, it's tense. And the count is 2-2 with one out. Bottom 9. Tied at 7. Runners on first and second. Yuba City. Seems like the Bears are about to jump out of their shoes. The count is 2-2. Strike 3. Malik Evans, a perfect pitch on the black. Two strikeouts for Evans in this inning, but 2 walks for Evans in this inning. Dominic Diana steps in. Evans now 2 outs. Bottom 9. The pitch. Hit hard to center field. Lowry underneath, and he makes the catch. We will go to the top of the 10th. For the 3rd time this season, the Medford Rogues are going to extra innings. They have dropped 2 in extras. Will tonight be the night? The good fortune on the road. We are tied at 7. Rogues up next. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. All right, Rogues fans, wherever you may be listening from, tonight is the night to maybe stand up and do your part. We are tied at 7 in the top of the 10th inning. Noah Gilmore back out there for the Yuba City Bears. Valenzuela Reese hits the first one. It takes a near impossible hop. Oh, my goodness. How do I describe it? It popped up and over Kalen Cristosto's head, and he grabbed it like Martin Brodeur, the goaltender on the ice, and he fired to first. First bad hop we have seen tonight, and that was a remarkable play against Clay Valenzuela Reese, who hustled from the get-go. 1 pitch, 1 out. And this brings up the top of the lineup. Davis DeLorfis steps in. Squared bunt, pulled back, called strike. Count 0-1.
0-1 to DeLorfis.
7-7, our score here in the top of the 10th. Yuba had runs in the first and the second. The Rogues had 6 in the top of the 5th, another in the top of the 7th. DeLorfis hits a 2-bouncer to the shortstop. Low receive, fired to first, pulls the runner off the bag. Rather, pulls Diana off the bag as DeLorfis strolls through. And with 1 out, the Rogues have a runner on. After one stellar play from the shortstop, Crisosto, he got a chance for another one. It took a low bounce below his knees, hard field, and the throw off the mark. I'm not sure what they scored it, because it looks like both teams have 6 hits, now 7 for the Rogues. Should be a hit, which I believe it is here at home for the Bears. Ball low in the dirt to Scotty Wright. So the Rogues now 7 hits, Yuba City now 6. Tied at 7, top 10. DeLorfis slides in over at first on the check from Gilmore. For those of you joining us live on MedfordRogues.com, you picked a mighty good time to do so. Thanks for being with us from wherever you may be listening. The count 1-0. In there for a strike to Scotty Wright. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
1-1 to right.
DeLorfis over at first with the infield single. Wright steps in. They'll check over on DeLorfis. Close play at first. He gets in safely. On the slide, Johnny De La Cruz on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top 10. Tied at 7. Extra innings here in Marysville for night number 1 of 4 between these two teams. Here's the 1-1. Above the belt, 2 balls and 1 strike. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live on MedfordRogues.com. A spectacular first night on the road for the Rogues. And again, I can't say it enough, thanks to the folks here in Marysville for the warm welcome. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out. The righty deals. Curveball in there for a strike. Buckled the knees of Scotty Wright. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now it's 2-2 to right.
Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. DeLorfis at first. Gilmore comes to a full set. And he steps off. Scotty Wright tonight is 0 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. DeLorfis over at first. Off the plate, 3 balls, 2 strikes. I think that may have drawn a quick remark from Colin Lawrence, and honestly, the pitch that we just saw here has been called a ball all evening. In between innings, I even remarked to the guys next to me over here calling the home radio broadcast, the zone has been really good. It's been really solid all night, and that pitch has been called the ball since inning number 1. 3 balls, 2 strikes. DeLorfis at first, and he'll get checked on. Count still 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top 10, tied at 7. Gilmore deals. The 3-2 fouled away.
Count still full to right.
So 7 hits for the Medford Rogues tonight. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. We are tied at 7 in the top of the 10th inning. 1 out. Bouncing for ball number 4. Scotty Wright trots down to first with Davis DeLorfis at second. Johnny De La Cruz will step in.
The Rogue number 2 left fielder Johnny De La Cruz.
Johnny 0 for 2 with 2 walks, an RBI, and 2 runs. Johnny was hit in the 5th inning. A quick mound visit over to Noah Gilmore has been broken up, and we are ready to go. 1 out, top 10. Runners on first and second. Gilmore looking for the sign from Lawrence. Comes to his set. De La Cruz in the right-handed batter's box. The leg kick and delivery. De La Cruz hits a slow dribbler to short, takes a terrible hop. De La Cruz pulls the first baseman off the bag, and he is safe. Bases loaded, 1 out, top 10. That one driven right down into the ground, rolled super slow to the left side, and a really tough play for the shortstop to make. Could very well be an infield single. Don't see any indication on the board quite yet. DeLorfis at third, right at second, and De La Cruz at first. Jake Hellwig in the left-handed batter's box. The pitch, fouled away, 0-1. Top of the 10th inning. Great to have you with us here live from Marysville, California. Bonus baseball live on MedfordRogues.com. The right-hander deals. Swinging and a miss by Jake Hellwig. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on first, second, and third here in the top of the 10th inning. Most of the crowd tonight has stuck around. And boy, are they in for a treat. I mean, this one's got to end good, right? Tied at 7, 1 away. The 0-2 to Hellwig. Swinging and a miss, he strikes out. Gilmore fired up, and with 2 outs, this brings up Connor Lowry in a good spot for Connor. Can't tell you how many times in the offseason I looked on the Blackhawk Junior College baseball Twitter page to see another home run from Connor Lowry. He is due at this moment with 2 outs, runners on first, second, and third. Connor has put on a show tonight. 2 doubles, multiple RBI, and he's up here with 2 outs. The bases loaded. Gilmore goes to the plate. In the dirt, kept in front by Lawrence. So there are 2 outs. Clay Valenzuela-Reese led off the inning with a ground out to the shortstop, and then Hellwig strikes out. So there are 2 away. The count 1 ball, no strikes. Runners on first, second, and third as Gilmore comes right back to his set. Looks at third, goes to the plate. Lowry gets it off the end of the bat. It's going to be a tough play over at first. Flip to the pitcher, Gilmore, who covers the bag. And once again, the Rogues strand the bases loaded. And they can't push one across. Bottom 10 we go, tied at 7. They got to hold them once again. You're listening to Medford Rogues Baseball, presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, live here on MedfordRogues.com. Rogues have not been able to push it across when they've needed to. A friendly reminder from the gentleman sitting next to me, back-to-back bases loaded, one-out situations for the Rogues in the 9th and 10th innings. And the Rogues unable to do anything with it. This brings up Logan Worm here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Yuba City in their first extra inning game of the year for the Medford Rogues. That is not the case. For those of you that know, the Rogues have played in 2 extra inning games against Chico. Down the right field line and foul. And the first pitch swinging from Malik Evans. That was Logan Worm. Now Logan has had one heck of a ball game. A solo shot off of Dylan Pierce in the 2nd inning, and then a 2 RBI double to continue a big bottom of the 8th for the Yuba City Bears. The count is 1-1. Malik Evans deals the 1-1. Swung and a miss for strike 2. The count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2.
7-7. 8 hits for Yuba City tonight. 7 for the Rogues, and we are tied at 7. Here's the 1-2. Evans, the off speed, upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 from Evans. Fouled straight back. Count stays even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. What a night. Oh, what a night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Rogues trying to hang on here and go to 1 more. Hit to the left side. Scotty right fields on the backhand, fires to first. Great play by the Colorado Christian stud over in the left side. Scotty Wright has been really good. And the Rogues playing extremely well on the field tonight. And you know what? Something that was remarked in between innings, both of these teams playing really well on the field tonight. I wish I could show you just how good of a stop that was by Crisosto in the last inning. I called it a Martin Brodeur-esque stop in between the pipes, and it looked that flashy. First pitch, low and away to T.J. Dove. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Here's the 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
2-0.
Here's the 2-0 from Evans. 3 balls, no strikes. Count 3-0. Evans, the full windup. Fouled down the right field line and out of play. Evans is the count at 3-1. The leg kick and delivery from the right-hander. And that one's ripped to left center field. That should be extra bases for T.J. Dove. All the way to the wall. Picked up and left by Johnny De La Cruz, and he flings it to the cutoff man. And once again, the Yuba City Bears are rallying. Bottom of the 10th inning, runner on second, 1 away. Eric Cortez will step in the batter's box.
Now batting for the Yuba City Bears, second baseman number 22, Eric Cortez.
Cortez shows bunt. Pulls back, swings, hits it deep to left center field. It's going to drop in. T.J. Dove is going to score, and the Yuba City Bears are going to walk off in the bottom of the 10th. The Rogues fall 8-7 tonight. Medford had a 7-2 lead, and the Yuba City Bears came back with 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th to tie the game. Yuba walks off tonight in the bottom of the 10th inning, and they win 8-7. Credit where it's due, TJ Dove came up big in the 8th inning, had a 2 RBI double to tie the game, and then hits the walk-off to center field. Tough pill to swallow for the Rogues. They have now lost 4 straight, and they will come back tomorrow night hungrier than ever to try to stop this skid. And they will take on the Yuba City Bears for a 7:05 first pitch tomorrow night. We'll have more coming up shortly on our Facebook page in terms of some pictures from the action tonight. You can read the game release shortly on MedfordRogues.com. Thanks for joining us tonight. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group, your local home loan experts. The Yuba City Bears walk off on the Medford Rogues tonight, 8-7 here in Marysville, California. It's a start of a 7-game road trip for the Medford Rogues. Bright spot for the Rogues tonight. Connor Lowry had a great game. Jake Helwig made one heck of a play out and right. Alex Isola looked really good behind home plate in his debut for the Medford Rogues. And everyone kind of did their part. 8 strikeouts from Dylan Pierce. And thanks again to reporter and producer Jonathan Kerman for making everything happen here tonight. 8-7 win for Yuba. We're back with you tomorrow night. My name is Brian Schnee. Thank you for joining us live on MedfordRogues.com. Presented by Mike Newman and the Newman Group. We're back with you for a 7:05 first pitch on Tuesday night here from Marysville, California. 8-7 win for Yuba tonight over your Medford Rogues. Have a great evening.
Rogue Nation.